Hey everyone, I'm so sorry. Y'all I was on the phone running my mouth. Sorry, people. Hey everyone. Hold on, y'all. 1 second here. Give me 1 second to get to my other device. I love you guys. Thank you guys for coming through today. Let me just get to my other device. Okie dokie. Let's see here. Okay, Pammy Pooh, I got you, girl. I got you, girl. Hey, Robin. Catherine. Hey. Oh, I knew it was no sound, Robin. I was on the phone. I was on the phone, my love. I was on the phone, running my mouth. Hey, Pammy Pooh. She said I'm listening while I'm cleaning. Okay, baby, no problem. No problem. Yeah, I was on the phone. Oh, I got an echo. Is it an echo now? Because I think I had my other device up. That could have been why. And I just turned it off. Let me know if it's an echo now, Robin, please. I appreciate you. I hope it's not. It still is? Really? Oh my God, I wonder why. Hold on. Hmm. Wow. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Robin. I'm gonna say, oh, okay, let me make sure my other device down. It could have been that too. Thank you so much, Robin. I appreciate that. And you know what? Let me turn this TV down a little bit more because it could have been that too. Baby, everything just sound off, honey. Okay? Everything just sound off. Just sound off. Thank y'all. Thank you, Robin, again, baby. Hey, Rebecca. How are you? Happy Thursday, y'all. It's supposed to be really nice Saturday, 76 degrees, 76. I don't know what everybody else said, but I know here it's supposed to be 76 Saturday. And I think tomorrow we're going to be like 62, 63, something like that. It's kind of breezy here today, though. Yeah. Um. Hey, Miss V, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Miss V. Thank you. Yes, y'all. I got maybe I can do 3 stories a day. I'm gonna see how long they be. I'll see. I'm good. Thanks for asking. How are you doing? I'm okay, Miss Rebecca. I'm okay, hanging in there and thanking God to see another blessed day. Thanking God to see another day. Yes. I always have to do that every morning I wake up. I always thank my God to see another day, because some people did not get to see today, you know. So we got to stay prayed up, love each other, stop being evil, malicious, and all kinds of stuff. Y'all know what I'm saying. Y'all know what I'm saying. Yes. Um. So yep. So the little girl here, y'all. I ain't gonna let y'all even. I ain't gonna tell y'all the story. I want y'all to hear the story. Okay. About this little girl. Hold on. You know what? These commercials be getting on my nerve. And I'm gonna put a one in the chat too. If you can hear it. It's just
57 Magnum and shot her mom 3 times and killed her.
Hello. So I need Michael here.
Her stepfather then arrives home, and Carly proceeds to try to kill him as well.
Hey, where's your wife at, buddy? Where's your wife at?
She's dead on the floor in that room.
A smart, bubbly teen does the unthinkable.
I use the word diabolical, and I stand by that word.
But is there more to the story?
She just had a look on her
y'all,
face.
this girl was
totally
14.
unfamiliar.
Yeah,
It was
14.
not the Carly that he knew.
13 or 14, I think 14.
What's on it? Trying to shoot me.
Hey there, everybody. I'm Jesse Weber, and welcome to Prime Crime, where we break down some of the most compelling and memorable true crime cases from across the country. When a popular and gifted teenage girl shoots her own parents, killing her mom and wounding her stepdad, it seems like an act of pure evil. But was something else at play? Maybe something beyond her control?
There is a new $40,000
Boy, these
whole life
commercials, no, they be
insurance
getting on my
policy
nerves for real,
with
y'all.
no 2-year waiting.
What's the location of your emergency? I went to 14. I don't know what happened. My wife is dead. What's on it? Trying to shoot me. Your daughter tried to shoot you? Yeah. She was shooting at me.
March 19th, 2024, in the quiet suburban community of Brandon, Mississippi. Heath Smiley calls 911, so distraught that he's barely understandable.
It was very disturbing. You hear Heath calling and he's crying hysterically, just screeching almost into the phone that his stepdaughter tried to shoot him, tried to kill him.
What's her name?
Okay,
Carly
baby.
Gregg.
Okay.
Carly Gregg. Does she still have a gun on her? I took it from her. She ran. You took it from her and she ran? Yes, sir. She was screaming something at me I couldn't understand. I locked the door. She's outside. I don't know what's going on. How old is she? 14.
It almost sounds
she
like
is
while he's
14.
on the phone with 911, he discovers Ashley's body because you can hear him screaming, "Oh my God, she shot her mom. She shot her mom."
Oh my God, she killed her mom. She what? She killed her mom. She killed her mom? Where's the mom? She killed her mom, but when I do this, she tried to kill me. Where's the mom at?
Hey,
Sir.
Denise, love you, girl.
Sir.
Denise, check your inbox. I sent you something earlier today. Check your inbox
Sir.
right now. Let me see it.
Okay, sir. Where's your wife? She's dead on the floor of my stepdaughter's room.
It was chilling to listen to that 911 call.
Officers rush to the family's home on Ashton Way.
Sheriff's office!
Don't open the door, the cops are here.
It shows him coming up to the home and going to the front door, and you can see Heath answering the door, and he's doubled over. He's got the wound on his shoulder and his trap muscle, and just screaming and crying.
Hey, hey, come outside for me. Hey, come here. Hey, where's your wife at, buddy? Where's your wife at? She's dead on the floor in that room.
The officer gets him out, he's laying down on the porch there before the officer goes in and checks the house. Number one, make sure that nobody is in there. And then he finds, of course, Ashley's body.
Sheriff's office! Hello?
That's her laying on the floor, y'all, but they had to cover it up.
I need medical here.
There were no reported problems with mom, no prior acts of domestic violence, no police involvement. So I think that this really came as quite a surprise to everybody.
Carly Gregg was 14 years old. She was a very good student. She was very bubbly, very friendly. She seemed very engaged.
And she was involved in a lot of extracurricular activities, had a lot of friends. She was just a very smart girl.
Ashley Smiley, Carly's mom, was a very loved school teacher. She taught in the same school that Carly attended.
Lots of teachers that I've spoken with that worked with her spoke about how sweet she was and how kind of a person that she was.
Keith Smiley, although Carly's stepdad, he treated her as his own daughter, that they had a very good relationship. So he really was not just a stepdad, but a real father to her.
She ran into the backyard. I tried to follow her. She jumped the fence and ran. She shot me in the neck. It's okay.
Does she still have the gun?
It's on the kitchen counter. I think there's.
Yes, it is, Robert.
It is.
What I was gonna say is, if you need to get anything with him, you do it.
Yeah.
And
we're gonna have somebody come to the hospital, I'm sure. The gun that's used is right there on the counter in the kitchen. No.
Meanwhile, another police unit picks up Carly Gregg.
Kilo unit was got the female subject in custody. Investigations requested she be brought here to the scene. 10-4.
A police officer that was on his way to the scene saw a girl crawling out of a storm drainage ditch.
She doesn't recall getting there. She doesn't recall leaving the house. She just went from taking the dogs outside in the backyard to being on her hands and knees in the ditch.
So he pulls over and he asks her, ask Carly, are you involved with the shooting that's happened? And he says, yes, sir. And so she puts him in the vehicle. They go down closer.
A 3% IRA match with Robinhood Gold. The reckoning has commenced.
You always want to enter.
What if recording high-quality content, editing like a pro, and streaming like a star was as simple as hitting record?
Step out real quick for me. That's what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna roll around to the front of you, okay? I'm gonna move the handcuffs around to the front of you. Okay. All right. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to swab your hands, okay? Yeah. Right. Now, we'll ask you a bunch of questions, but obviously you fired with a pistol, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
She was very small and she's very young. And she looked so young. Like, even though she was 14,
That's about 12, 11.
she looked more like a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
I need you to hold your hand up like this. I'm going to do your right hand first, okay? Which hand did you shoot with? Okay. Which hand did you shoot with?
Carly, in the body camera footage, seemed very calm in that moment and very concerned with what was going on or how Heath was.
They're taking her into custody, and you hear Carly very clearly ask, how is my stepdad?
All right. Is my stepdad okay? I don't know, baby. I can't talk to you about this.
And y'all,
It's
that's
interesting
strange,
that
like,
she didn't.
that's strange that she asked about her stepdad, is he okay? And then asked about her mom. That was kind of strange.
Ask how her mother was. I guess she knew.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah. Carly was taken into custody within, I believe, 2 hours of the incident occurring, within an hour of actually shooting her stepfather.
So Carly was charged with first-degree murder for the murder of her mother, Ashley Smiley. She was also charged with attempted murder for her stepfather, Heath Smiley, and then charged with tampering with evidence, and that stems from her hiding the security camera that was in their kitchen.
What's most interesting in this case is that a majority of what happened in the case has been documented by the cameras in the house.
That's right. We can actually watch this shocking story play out in real time.
And then Carly returns
Yes, it was, Rob.
to the
That's what
kitchen,
I said. I'm like,
trying
what
to
the hell?
conceal the gun behind her back. Sits at the kitchen counter.
No one was around, so she sat down and sort of collected herself and her thoughts about her next move.
Based on what Carly Gregg's stepfather has told police, it seems his teenage daughter came home from school, killed her mom, and then tried to kill him. Police used footage from home security cameras to piece together exactly what happened.
On the afternoon of March 19th, after Carly and her mom got home from school, And according to her friends, her two good friends who were the last.
And y'all, her mom is a school teacher, by the way. And her mom taught at the same school that she went to.
Asked people to see them at school. Carly was fine. Her mom was fine, not upset. From the video footage from the garage, they did not appear to be fighting. There was no argument taking place in the car when they pull up in the driveway.
From the video, it seems that Ashley Smiley goes to her daughter's room to the right of the kitchen. Carly Gregg checks on where her mom is and then goes outside with the family dogs. Ashley confirms that her daughter is outside.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised with shit going on nowadays.
Then Carly comes back into the house. And if you can see from the security camera footage, Carly is walking very slowly, and she kind of turns in the direction of where we're told her bedroom is, where her mother is. She then walks quietly and quickly towards the opposite end of the house where Ashley and Heath Smiley's bedroom was. She got the gun from her mother's side of the bed. The gun was loaded. They had cubbies along the bottom of their bed, and the gun was on Ashley's side of the bed in one of the cubbies. And then you can see her coming back across the house with the gun behind her back. When she is walking past the entrance to the kitchen area, you can see where she looks into the kitchen almost to make sure that her mother has not left the bedroom and gone into the kitchen, but to make sure where her mom was. So she does not see her mom in the kitchen. She goes into the bedroom. She shoots her mom once, twice. You hear a thud on the ground. Well, you hear a thud, and we're assuming that that is Ashley Smiley falling to the ground dead. And then Carly shoots her one more time, point blank in the face. It was less than 36 inches from her mother's face.
Right after Carly shot her mom, she went into the kitchen and she calmly sat, went to a phone, which you later learned was her mother's phone, and texted her stepdad as if she was her mom, asking, in quotes, when will you be home, honey? So almost acting like her now dead mother texting her stepfather.
Almost like she was trying to impersonate her mom and lure him back home. He says he's going to be a little while longer, and she sends back a thumbs up.
I think that forethought and the fact that she was so manipulative in thinking to use the words, honey, when are you going to be home, to set up her stepfather, Heath, to arrive at the home where apparently she planned to kill him as well.
But she appeared very cool and calm right after shooting her mom 3 times. And then Carly texts a friend and invites the friend over.
She had actually FaceTimed, called more than one friend after she had shot her mom. Carly was saying that she had really effed up, that she had messed up, and they were saying, well, don't do anything, don't hurt yourself, don't do anything bad. And she had said to them, I already have. One of her friends asked if they needed to call 911, and Carly responded to them, no, don't do that. You can't do that.
Bizarrely, Carly Gregg even sings for a moment before returning to her bedroom.
Let's unscramble this, shall we? Oh, yeah, that's better. Apartments.com.
This is sad. For your own child to do you like this.
It appears that what Carly did in between making those phone calls and talking to her friend was that she posed her mother's body. She got a red towel and covered her mother's face with it. She had her mom's arms, like her hands across the stomach, put her hands across the stomach, almost like someone would be in a casket type of thing. So then the friend that comes over, when she gets to the front door, Carly opens the door and asks her, says something along the lines of, do dead bodies make you squeamish? And she takes the friend inside and shows the friend her mom on the floor that is dead in her bedroom.
Acting as if she wanted to show off what she had just done, killing her mom, and showing her friend her mother's dead body. So it was quite jarring information to learn about this 14-year-old girl.
She told her friend, she said, I put 3 in my mom. I've got 3 more for my stepdad. He's on his way home now.
Wow.
And so she told her friend to go out and hide in the backyard until her stepdad got home and she could finish the job with him.
Less than an hour later, her stepfather, Heath Smiley, comes home.
She was waiting for him, gun in hand. He's coming through the door. She gets shots off. She manages to shoot him in the shoulder until he can overpower her.
And Carly, you can hear her the entire time screaming like a mad person. You can hear on the surveillance camera footage from the laundry room, you can hear where Heath Smiley first gets shot. It was about 6 inches away from his head. If it would have been just a little bit over, he would have been possibly been killed as well. We don't have the surveillance video of her actually shooting him because she had taken the security camera that was in the kitchen. She took it down and hid it in the refrigerator. And then she takes off running out the back door. When the friend who is outside hiding sees her running, the friend follows Carly just because she's terrified at this moment. And you can see in the security video from the garage, Carly hopping over a fence, and then also the friend hopping over a fence.
And that's when Heath Smiley calls 911 and police catch up with Carly Gregg. But did her shocking behavior come out of the blue, or did something motivate her to turn on both her parents so violently? When police interview her friends, they reveal that something had happened earlier that day.
Apparently, a friend was very concerned about Carly, saying that she had been vaping marijuana on a regular basis.
She had been talking to boys, had a burner phone.
So he reports that his concerns to Ashley Smiley at the school that day before they leave. Miss Smiley was not upset. She was more disappointed in herself and a little worried, but not upset, not angry when Carly and her mom left that day.
It came up that possibly Carly had some issues as far as being afraid of disappointing her mother.
Carly and her mom have a very deep, connected relationship, and Carly really feels responsible for her mom's feelings to the point that she doesn't want to do anything that would cause her mom to be worried or upset.
But it seemed to have been a reaction by Carly to that moment of mom searching her room, speaking to her friend about her vaping, her pot use, her marijuana use, her burner phones. That culmination ended up with mom paying with her life.
Do y'all think that played a role in what she was doing? What she did to her mom and her dad because of the use of the marijuana? Or do y'all think that it was some mental issues going on? What do y'all think? She was just an evil person. What do y'all think?
It seems Carly Gregg has been having problems for a while.
I think to really understand the events on March 19th, you have to back the clock all the way up to the fall of 2023, when Carly first began to exhibit signs of her mental illness. She was having a difficult time sleeping. She was having racing thoughts. She was having intrusive thoughts. She was very depressed, very anxious, very on edge. She was having a difficult time with her memory, things that were abnormal for Carly.
Thank you, sweetie, for the coffee. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Began to pick up on it and notice it, started talking to her mom about it.
This is somebody that was cutting herself. This was somebody that was writing very troubling things in her journal.
Finally, her stepdad and mom talk with Carly in December of 2023. They enter her in therapy, and they also start her on Zoloft in January of 2024 to help treat her anxiety and depression. Carly comes back, I believe, on March 13th of 2024 and reports to her nurse practitioner that the Zoloft is making her feel just completely numb, zombified. So they decide then to take her off the Zoloft and switch her to Lexapro. Carly becomes even more on edge, even more manic.
And there's something else that may be contributing to Carly Gregg's mental health issues.
Her biological father, Kevin Gregg, he had a history of mental illness, and Ashley was often afraid that Carly was going to have the same issues that her father had.
He did have significant mental health issues and had been on several medications for schizophrenia and bipolar disorder too. So we don't know what might have led to the acute stressful episode, other than it was sort of the perfect storm for Carly. All of these things were coming to a head all at once. And for whatever reason, the spiral just completely fell apart at that time. There was a lot of hope that the jury would understand, mental illness and the effect of being put on the wrong medication.
So every senior between the ages of 50
So
and
what do y'all
85
think so
need to know
far?
about this. There is a new $40,000.
Hey, so I want to quickly thank Odoo for sponsoring Prime Crime, making episodes like this possible. And this is for all you business owners out there. Odoo copywriter helps come up with descriptions for the site. I mean, look at this. Look how great this looks. So
Already experiencing mental health issues.
Apparently hoping to spare Greg any more time in solitary than necessary, the judge expedites the trial. Defense attorney Bridget Todd and prosecutors will have less than 6 months to prepare their cases.
I was quite amazed how short a period of time from the time of the crime to the actual trial, a murder trial like this, where a young girl is looking at spending the rest of her life in jail. I am amazed
That's
that
sad.
it was put forth so quickly.
And it seems the prosecution has a clear advantage.
It's a prosecutor's case, definitely. The defense definitely had a harder road ahead with the case.
The prosecution strategy was they had a lot of video footage to put forward.
The video is very compelling. It shows a very calm, premeditated, manipulative girl murdering her mother. So that's hard to overcome.
Then, before the trial begins, during the pre-trial hearings, the state offers Greg a chance to hedge your bets in a case that seems stacked
I didn't know they
against her.
need the
They initially gave her a 40-year plea deal, which is still a long time, but considering what she was up against, was not. And they offered it to her once during pre-trial and right before the trial happened.
Someone who's 14 or 15, 40 years is
I haven't
your
seen
whole
you in a
life
while,
without
baby. What's going
possibility
on,
of
sis?
parole. And that's a really weighty thing.
I think I just asked
Miss,
about you.
Greg,
Hey, Auntie
did you
Terry, I
see
got
that
you when I get
recommendation?
offline, Auntie.
Yes, sir. And it was your choice and your choice alone to reject that recommendation.
I was behind the comments, y'all.
She was asked 2 questions by a judge.
Get on my nerves.
Do you understand this? There is no way 14-year-olds understand the severity, the complexity, the permanency of what she was asked.
If she proceeds to trial, count 1, what's the potential sentence?
Life.
If the jury fails to affix the sentence at life, what's the sentencing range?
20 years to 40 years.
All right, and count 2, what's the potential sentence?
Between 20 years and life.
As a defense attorney, you are only the messenger. And it is not your decision. The defense attorney goes to her client and says, this is the best offer I can get for you. And Carly says, absolutely not. I'm going to roll the dice. I don't want to go to jail for 40 years. I'd rather take my chances. And ultimately, it's the defendant's decision, even though she's 14 or 15 years old.
Wow.
Carly, of her own free will and decision, decided that she trusts the Rankin County jurors more than she trusts a 40-year plea offer by the state.
And apparently she believed that their defense of her was going to be strong enough to get her through.
Open book.
Carly Gregg's trial gets underway in September 2024, about 6 months after the shootings.
Ladies and gentlemen, you'll hear testimony throughout
open
the
book.
next few days during this case. You'll hear.
She shot her mom in the head and then waited for her dad to come home, and she shot her dad. Then after she shot her dad, she texts 2 of her friends, and one of her friends came over to the house. She's only 13.
You'll hear about some secret life that Carly lived. You'll hear that she was secretly cutting on her thigh using a knife. You'll hear that she secretly had burner phones her mom and stepdad didn't know about that she was using. You'll hear that she had secret weed vape pens and that she was secretly smoking those vape pens and getting high before going to school at times. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not why we're here, though. We're here because of what she did on March the 19th, 2024.
I thought the prosecution had a lot of evidence, but I was more interested in the things that the prosecution
This
didn't
month
have,
made a
like
year
a
this
motive
happened.
or a history of violence or a kid that was troubled.
The defense strategy was that she's a 14-year-old girl and she had to have had some psychotic break because no one said she was crazy before. There's not history of her abusing her mother, or there were prior police calls or police reports or prior violence anyone discussed of anything about Carly.
If the defense could prove that Greg had had a psychotic break, she could be found not guilty by reason of temporary insanity. Then she might avoid prison and instead be treated in a mental health facility.
This is not a whodunit case. We know who took action on March 19th to bring about the death of Ashley Smiley and the injuries to Heath Smiley. However, this is a why case. Why did it happen? Why did this exceptional child with no history of violence,
Glad you
who
got
was
off
loved
of
by
it.
her friends, her teachers, her parents, who had a good home life, who loved her mother, why did she shoot her mom? Why did she shoot at her stepfather? The state would like you to believe the answer to those questions don't matter.
But we know better than that.
The answers to those questions is why we're here today.
But I believe that they felt very strongly about their defense. We knew who did it. It was just a matter of whether or not this was actually an insanity defense.
While the events on March 19th were tragic,
that could be true too.
The events on March 19th were not
true.
intentional. And at the end of this trial, if the state's case still leaves you feeling like their version of events just doesn't make sense, then you must return a verdict of not guilty.
And as you'll see, the complicated issue of mental health will take center stage.
In that week leading up to March 19th, she told me that the voices were getting worse, that they were becoming more urgent, more insistent, more of a problem for her.
Looking for a facelift alternative? Consider switching up your skincare routine with this.
So
let me show you how my patients have noticeably.
She looked beyond remorseful. She was crying. She was shaking. She looked so innocent. She looked so helpless.
As testimony begins in the trial of teenager Carly Gregg, charged with murdering her mother and shooting her stepfather, she can barely keep her emotions under control, especially during her stepdad's 911 phone call.
How would you describe Mr. Smiley's demeanor whenever you first picked up the phone off of that day?
He was very distraught. At first, I thought I was speaking with a female.
She had not ever seen those videos or heard those videos before.
Where's your wife at?
Robin, you could be absolutely right. Absolutely right.
When she first covered her ears, I didn't expect that. But I think for her, she didn't want to hear it. She didn't.
No, she knew what she was
so
on.
traumatic and so
Maybe
painful.
she was spoiled, like someone in the chat just said, and couldn't get
and
away.
It did seem to be genuine.
In all the time that you've known Carly, would you describe her as callous?
No.
Would you describe her as calculating?
No, except with math.
Would you describe her as diabolical?
No.
Wow.
How would you describe Carly?
She's just a sweet little girl ever since I've known her.
She had a very good relationship with her stepdad, Heath Smiley. She had written him a very touching Father's Day card about
You see how her stepfather said still good things about her?
He took an interest in her.
After all of that.
How did Carly appear to you when you walked in?
Like I said, my initial thoughts were she was terrified, scared out of her mind. I still, to this day, don't think she ever even recognized me. Something was wrong there. I don't know what, but something was off.
in that garage video, just that feral screaming from the minute she walks in the door, and you hear Heath from the garage saying, "Carly, it's me. What's the matter?" And there's just nothing but feral screaming from Carly.
It was very evident to me immediately that something was very, very off with Carly.
He was so convinced by Carly's genuine state of terror that even after he's been shot in the shoulder and Carly has left the house, he is walking around the house with the handgun, going room to room, looking for an intruder, because he genuinely believed that there was an intruder in the house based on the state of terror Carly was in when he arrived home.
And then turned and went into Carly's room. And
yeah, she sure did. I think she knew what she was doing.
When you found Ashley, can you tell the ladies and gentlemen
then crossed her
what she saw?
arms like, girl.
She was laying on her back and had her hands kind of across her, and a towel over her face.
And Heath, when you moved the towel, what did you see?
I knew she had been shot. There was blood around, but I don't really recall exactly where. Somewhere in the right side of her face.
There was a lot of emotion surrounding her stepfather, but there was not a lot of emotion surrounding her mother.
She hit the camera in the refrigerator.
Led to a lot of people having
counted how many bullets she had left. She called
the defense calls their first and only mental health expert to the stand.
I don't know.
Based on your evaluation, was there a period of time in which Carly's mental health issues began to be more significant?
Yes, her journal entry from March 12th of 2024, 1 week before the incident. So writing on March 12th, Tuesday, she writes, "I think I had a psychotic break earlier. The whole ordeal was quite silly. I actually spoke with one of the voices in my head. My particular friend and I were practically screaming, bloodthirstily and ravenously. Thank God, physical confrontation was not, and I think it's fruitively, possible.
Exactly,
I sound crazy."
Carly had written a journal entry about her friend, quote unquote, the voice, taking over and feeling like it was taking over control of her. And she was losing control of herself to the voice in her head. And she was worried about it.
What, if any, diagnostic impressions?
Tell me something good. Miss Hill just said in the beginning of the live.
Based on the records you reviewed, your experience, your expertise, your evaluation of Carly, and the family members that you spoke to.
Number one, her mood disorder. Right. So I gave her the diagnosis of bipolar 2. I saw her as having suffered from some significant depression, and then some hypomanic episodes, and then worsening a mood disorder that was worsened by the Lexapro medication from March 12th onward. Certainly in the week or weeks leading up to the incident, the voices were becoming more prominent, more urgent, more of a problem, and likely really had crossed over into the domain of what I would call psychosis.
Her friends had reported that she had become very irritable, on edge, which sort of matches with what we're seeing from the signs of mental illness, that she had, withdrawn a little bit more, wasn't her like normal happy-go-lucky self.
I think Carly has a much more severe psychiatric illness than anybody realized.
Do you believe that Carly was able to understand the nature of her conduct and appreciate the difference between right and wrong at the time this incident occurred on March 19th?
I agree with Ms. J statement.
I don't think so.
Carly's defense team, they only called one expert witness, but I believe that they felt very strongly about their defense and felt like what he had to say would be sufficient.
The prosecution calls 4 mental health experts, and they have a much different take on Carly Gregg's state of mind.
So she's denying seeing things that other people don't see and hearing things that other people don't see. Right. Did she report that she was hearing voices? No.
Any blackouts, any lapses in time?
No. There have been no thoughts of abnormal or psychotic thoughts. Is that correct?
Right.
What was her behavior like? Completely normal. And at no time did she report any hallucinations or delusions. At no time did she report any memory or concentration issues.
Nah.
And while one nurse practitioner testifies that the change in Carly Gregg's medication could have affected her behavior, other experts disagree.
They put on their experts to show that there is no way that the dosage of medication that she was taking and the medication, the type of medication, could at any way create such a psychotic break with reality that you kill someone or you are in such a bad bipolar state that you had no idea what you were doing.
When you learned about the events that had transpired on March.
Jersey's expensive, and it's a problem.
I'm gonna cut your
I
taxes
don't know. I
and
think this
solve
girl
this
knew what she
problem.
was doing.
If every time you see an ad,
Really
you
do,
just wanna, you need to download
Sorry, but I
it. It's a
think
free
she was
Chrome
not
extension that
mentioned.
blocks ads
She
on
knew
all your
everything she
favorite
was
sites.
doing, and she planned it.
19th. Were you shocked? It's the most shocking day of my life. And that's based on the 9 sessions you had with Carly and the hours you spent with her.
Yes, because I had no clue that nor had she ever reported that she was severely mentally troubled to any degree like that.
I want to talk a little bit about bipolar because it's my understanding that that's one of the diagnoses that Dr. Clark gave to Carly Gregg. Can you talk about whether or not you believe that Carly Gregg actually has either bipolar 1 or bipolar 2?
I highly doubt and do not believe that Carly has bipolar disorder.
Baby, yes.
The
Oh my
prosecution
God.
was very
Yes,
thorough.
absolutely.
4 people evaluated this defendant on the prosecution side, giving 4 different evaluations that came to the same conclusion. That's extremely strong evidence for the prosecution. Almost as strong as the video of the calm, cool, and collected defendant right after committing a murder.
Yeah, look how
The
she just sitting there,
prosecution's
y'all.
final witness circles back to Carly Gregg's journals. There's a lot of things in these journals, and some of them are concerning. She says, what do I believe? And she writes these tenets down, and one of them says, it's okay to be evil. There is no God. Heaven and hell are fake.
Wow.
Love is important. You don't need family. Writing your own destiny with a check mark beside it.
She was saying it doesn't matter to her if she didn't have a family. So there was some clearly this was a troubled child.
But a prosecution witness puts it in harsher terms. I use the word diabolical, and I stand by that word. I do not believe Carly is a diabolical person. I do not believe she's an evil person. When Carly on that day went and unlocked the phone, texted a specific target, her stepfather, who she told me was more of a father figure to her than Kevin was, and said, "You almost home, honey." When she did that to me, that was very specific and diabolical. And that to me is not consistent with a dissociative spell. That is not consistent with psychosis. That is not consistent with mania. And it's definitely not consistent with hypomania. To me, that was deceitful.
The defense would have had to have established that Carly didn't know that what she did was wrong, that she had some psychotic break that stopped her from being basically a human being, knowing that killing is forever, shooting your mother is not right, and that your behavior is criminal in this regard.
What was your ultimate opinion as to whether or not Carly Gregg was insane at the time of the murder, attempted murder, and tampering with physical evidence on March the 19th, 2024?
I don't think she was insane at all.
So my opinion is that Carly does not meet Mississippi's standard for insanity at the time of the offense, and that she knew the nature, quality, and wrongfulness of her actions during that day.
They said that she clearly presented as someone who was not insane, but someone who had signs of being manipulative and having psychotic behavior. So that was very important for the prosecution.
After 4 days of testimony, the prosecution and defense present their closing arguments.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's no doubt that Carly Madison Gregg is the one who killed her mom, Ashley Smiley. There's no doubt that she attempted to kill
Okay, my 2 cents.
Keith Smiley when she aimed the gun right at his head and shot and hit him in the shoulder. And there's no doubt that she's the one who hid the camera, thus tampering with evidence in the refrigerator. And we would ask you that you go back there and you find her guilty of all three, because she was not insane at the time that this happened. She knew exactly what she was doing, and she knew the difference between right and wrong.
The truth is rarely pure and never simple. It's what Oscar Wilde said. While she was having a state of psychosis in an episode of acute stress on March 19th, she lost herself in what was the perfect storm. I am asking you, for those reasons, to please find Carly Gregg not guilty by reason of insanity and finally quell this storm for Carly and her family. I ask you to search your hearts and remember the undisputed truths in this case.
A lot to consider in what is a very difficult case. What will the jury decide when it comes to 15-year-old Carly Gregg?
This is a tough story. It is. There's really no other way to say it. But look, we are glad that we're able to bring it to you and shed a light on what is going on here. But for that, I have to quickly call out and thank our sponsor, Morgan & Morgan, because it's with their support that helps us to be able to keep on producing these kinds of shows. And by the way, this is America's largest person. You know why? Because they easily start a claim at forthepeople.com/primecrime.
It did seem there was more people that believed that she was, for lack of a better word, just an evil person.
In the case of 15-year-old Carly Gregg, charged with the murder of her mother and the attempted murder of her stepfather, the jury reaches a verdict.
Ms. Gregg, please rise and come to the stage, along with your
Oh,
attorneys.
boy. Yes, the father survived. The father just
Verdict
testified.
of the jury is count one. We, the jury, find the defendant, Carly Madison Gregg, guilty of first-degree murder as charged in the indictment. Count two. We, the jury, find the defendant, Carly Madison Gregg, guilty of attempted murder as charged in the indictment. Count three. We, the jury, find the defendant, Carly Madison Gregg, guilty of tampering with evidence as charged in the indictment. Please be seated, Ms. Gregg.
It was less than 2 hours. So they come back and they found her guilty on all three counts. You know, they did believe that Carly had mental health issues, that she was going through something mental health wise. But as far as an insanity defense goes, it just did not reach that criteria.
I don't think they were presented with enough evidence about her. I don't think they ever saw a likable side of Carly. They saw a little girl, a young girl, sitting in court crying a lot. But that's about all they got to see of her.
So they had basically three options with sentencing, which was sentence her to life with the possibility of parole. They could turn the sentence portion over to the judge and allow the judge to render the sentence instead of the jury themselves, or they could sentence her to life.
The verdicts read as follows. As to count one, we, the jury, sentence the defendant, Carly Madison Gregg, to life imprisonment. As to count two, we, the jury, sentence the defendant, Carly Madison Gregg, to life imprisonment. Sentences will run concurrent.
It is scary what she did and horrible what she did. But she's still a 14-year-old kid that does not appear to have received a fair shake from our justice system. And now she's in jail for the rest of her life, 15 years old, until she dies.
She is in a facility that houses violent offenders, juvenile violent offenders, and she will remain there until she turns 18, and that's when she will move over to the adult division.
Gregg's attorneys filed a motion for a new trial, but it was denied by the judge. However, the defense is now appealing the verdict.
It's definitely one of the more memorable cases that I've tried. When you're representing a juvenile being tried as an adult, you know, the stakes are obviously heightened, not just legally, but emotionally. I genuinely care about Carly. She is a good kid. And, you know, I think anybody that knows Carly is lucky to know her. And I know some people will find that hard to believe.
I think this was her attorney, y'all.
People are more than the worst thing they've ever done.
Yep,
a
she
lot
got
of
life
people feel
over
like that
her
she
life.
got what she deserved, but you do still have that fringe group of people who believe
sad her
that
whole
it was an
life is
unjust
gone.
sentence and that she should not have gotten
She's
it.
just in the prime of her
Regardless
life.
of the outcome of the trial, there's no winners. There's no winners here. It's just very sad.
Exactly. It's no wonder she's in jail for her life,
A
and her mom gone for
15-year-old
life.
girl who was beloved by her parents and friends will spend the rest of her life in prison. Maybe the worst punishment is she'll have to live all of her years with the terrible guilt of her horrific crime. That's all we have for you here on this episode of Prime Crime. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Jesse Weber, and as always,
That's crazy. Like her life is completely gone. Like it's over. You know? Over. Hold on, y'all. Sad. And you know, after she did it to her father still got up there and said nice things about her. After she shot the father still said nice things about her. You know, maybe he's still seeing good in her, you know. Maybe he didn't know what triggered her on that day. So I don't know. But y'all, I got this story right here. I'm gonna show y'all. And I want
A convicted mass murderer.
Hold on. I want y'all to make y'all own decision how y'all feel about it. Now, y'all, I'm just gonna tell you a little bit about it, and y'all gonna talk about the rest on y'all. Listen. Will she get parole? No. They was gonna give her life in prison. When they say life in prison with the possibility of parole, she can do a certain amount of years, then go up for parole, to see the parole board, and then they can say, okay, they can let her go home. But when they said life with no parole, you're never coming home. So it is a difference. Now this story here, y'all. This is a young, beautiful lady. I think she could have been in her 60s. She had it going on for herself. I don't know what state this in, y'all, because I never heard of it. So maybe y'all know, y'all can tell me. Okay. Only thing I know, this lady here met a man online, y'all. Okay. Okay. And the man was in jail. All right. And the man had killed 4 people, y'all. And she went to jail to see the man, spent the night with the man, and then the man killed her. Now y'all see the rest on your own. I ain't telling you nothing else. It's not like she wasn't loved or she wasn't neglect. Her mother didn't deserve that. Absolutely, she did not. Miss Lewis, hey baby, what's going on, boo boo? So this story here, I want y'all to see it for yourself, and here we go. Y'all can tell me what you get out of it, okay? Because ain't no way I would go and see a man in jail
Already serving life behind bars.
Let me know if y'all can hear it. Put
Accused
one in the
of
chat.
killing again. This time, his own wife during a conjugal visit. David Brinson, sentenced for the brutal murders of 4 people, was the last person to see his wife alive. At first, authorities believed she died of natural causes, but the autopsy tells a different story. The truth? She was strangled. Now her family is demanding answers. Like, how could this happen inside of a prison? And was there a deadly plan all along? I'll walk you through the details. For Law and Crime News, I'm Kennedy Walker. This woman, Stephanie Brinson, known as Stephanie Dowells, was found dead inside a California prison in November of 2024. She is now at the center of a homicide investigation because authorities say she was strangled. Her husband, a convicted mass murderer, already serving life behind bars. David Brinson is serving 4 consecutive life terms without the possibility of parole for the execution-style murders of 4 men during a 1990 robbery in Los Angeles. He was convicted in 1994 and just narrowly missed the death penalty. Now, according to the LA Times, here's what happened. Brinson reportedly believed one of his victims, Robert Marks, was a high-level cocaine dealer. He stormed into Marks's home demanding drugs and money. But after ransacking the place and finding almost nothing, Brinson made a decision that would change the rest of his life and end someone else's. Prosecutors say he forced Marks and 3 other men to lie face down on the floor and then shot each of them in the back of the head, execution style. His victims included 59-year-old Robert Marks, his roommate, 28-year-old Gene McCullers, and 2 visitors, Celadino Ligtas, who was 33, and William Terry, who was 27 years old. Despite his violent past, Brinson was still allowed visitors. According to the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation website, Some inmates are eligible for
Tell me something
family
good.
visits,
That's what
which
I
is
tried.
defined
I
as
asked
visits that
myself
occur
too.
in private apartment-like facilities on prison grounds and last approximately 30 to 40 hours. On November 13th, 2024, Brinson and his wife were in the middle of a conjugal visit. Just after 2 a.m., prison officials say Brinson used the
No, I
family
didn't
unit
hear about
phone
that.
to
2
call
cents.
for help, claiming his wife had passed out. Officers attempted to resuscitate her, but it was too late. Stephanie Dowells was pronounced dead at 2:51 a.m. At first, her death was believed to be from natural causes. Now, 4 months later, the Amador County coroner confirmed Stephanie was strangled. What's unclear is how long she had been at the prison and when exactly she arrived. Stephanie, known as Stevie, was 62 years old. Her family told KCRA she was a hairstylist and a small business owner. Her mother, Obetta Wilson, called her, quote, the glue that held the family together. She was a mother of 2 and a grandmother of 6. Her family, devastated by her death, is now demanding answers from the prison. Like, how did this happen? And how are people with multiple murder convictions allowed to have conjugal visits? According to the CDCR, while certain inmates, like those on death row or convicted of sex offenses, are banned from these types of visits, multiple murder convictions are not listed as a restriction. Regarding security for family visits, an officer tasked with monitoring a visit can check in unannounced, but every effort shall be made to ensure the privacy of the inmate and their visitors, according to the CDCR manual. As of now, no charges have been filed, and officials say the case remains under investigation. The Amador County Sheriff's Office confirmed to the Los Angeles Times that Brinson is officially suspected of killing his wife. If convicted, this would be Brinson's 5th murder charge. And joining me now is prison consultant Justin Paperny. Justin, it's great to have you. We want to get your perspective. First, how strict is security during conjugal visits or family visits? And are inmates ever left completely alone with their visitors?
Well, during the regular visitation in prison, there's always going to be guards inside of that room watching. There can be some embracing at the beginning and end of a visit. Sometimes prisoners get frisky. They'll break it down. They'll shut it down. They can end the visit for that prisoner and everyone. When there's a conjugal visit, part of it is you've earned the right through good behavior to actually have some privacy. So it's not going to be total scrutiny, but there will be some checking in. But with that comes some time alone, and allegedly some devastating things can follow, like allegedly someone getting
She was beautiful.
Killed.
I want to thank our sponsor, Odoo, for making news stories like this possible. Odoo is an incredible all-in-one business management software that provides you with a range of applications.
And that's the thing, y'all. And the prison, I never heard of this before. I just never heard of this. In every state, it is different. So apparently, California is different, right? So when prisoners in jail for, like this man was in jail for murder, 4 murder charges, right? When they get to a certain level, right, they can start getting visits, meaning the visitor can spend the night with them. I never heard of no shit like that. God damn, if you go to prison here for murder, you ain't getting no visits. Okay? Not no overnight shit. You're going to get visits wonder to wonder. That's about it. So she met this guy online, from what I'm understanding. She met this guy online and she met this guy. But I'm quite sure when she met this guy, before she went to see this guy, she had to know this guy was already in jail for 4 murders prior to her going to see him. Okay? And another thing I want to say, y'all, I'm not knocking nobody for what they do. Everybody got their own way of living and how they do things. From what I'm getting from this lady, it's like maybe she had issues with dating a man on the outside of the prison, and she felt like a guy in prison can make her feel better. I'm getting she had low self-esteem about herself. Okay, I'm getting she could have had maybe some little childhood trauma going on here. That's what I'm getting, because it's no way that a smart woman, educated woman like this, with something going for herself, would date a man in jail after 4 bodies that he took. Okay, and you spend the night with this man. I don't get it. This man gotta be a narcissist. So let's continue.
One of my favorite Odoo applications is their website builder. With their drag and packages and getting me a website for my sweet dog. Build your website now. The domain is free for the first year when you use trainings do visitors have to go through before being approved for family visits.
Anyone who visits in a prison is going to go through a comprehensive background check. You have to get approved to visit.
Yes.
If you have a DUI, any arrest, everything has to be disclosed, and then the prison is going to eventually approve or not allow the visitation. So there is a comprehensive screening before anyone's allowed to go in. Also, you're supposed to know someone before you actually visit, meaning if you're in prison and you meet someone, it's harder to get approved to visit if you didn't know them before you went to prison. There should be some connection.
And how common is it for violent offenders to be granted family visits? And do you think policies around this should change?
It is pretty common, as we see here, and this person had been in prison for a very long time, and apparently had built up a record that compelled prison staff to think, okay, he's worthy of these niceties, so to speak. The problem is when something like this happens, everyone's going to be held accountable, and that's sort of like prison. Even in a minimum security camp, you don't clean the microwaves well enough, no one's going to get the microwaves for a week. So in a scenario like this, prisoners who have earned it through good behavior, who are following policy and programming and preparing to come home, they are going to pay the ultimate price for this, because of course there's going to be investigations. It's going to lead to more scrutiny, and prison is concerned about safety. So you can expect them to say, for the time being, we're going to shut down this process while we reevaluate our processes. So people who have earned it are really going to struggle. And of course, I empathize for the family who's enduring this traumatic tragedy.
Are there any security measures in place inside these family units, and how often are they checked by the prison staff?
Well, there are certainly.
And y'all, that's another issue. Why are these prisoners is in prison for the rest of their life, but get visits overnight, and it's no cameras nowhere? And this is how this guy got over with this. Okay, now I'm not saying put cameras in the rooms because you are invading the privacy, but this guy is a murderer. 4 people. Y'all should at least have cameras by the doors, in the hallway, something to protect these people that's dealing with mass murderers, coming to see mass murderers. I mean, this is just ridiculous. But you got all guards. Right when they go visit people, right when they're in the visiting hall, okay, they got guards in there. But when these people is coming to getting visits and they spending overnight, they don't have cameras in there. Now, everybody is not mass murderers that get visits overnight in California. Just some of the people. But I'm saying for the people that is in there for this type of crime, and you allow them to get visits overnight, that baffles me. Like, for real.
Security measures, and they're supposed to be checked every single day repeatedly to make sure that the prisoner has the privacy they need, but also there's checks and protocols to make sure they are supervising the prisoner. So whether it's hourly or every few hours, they're supposed to check that there's been a screening, they've watched, that everything is in order. But in an instance like this, if this person actually committed this crime, how long would it take? Just a minute or two, a few minutes. So if you're sick and you want to kill someone and you have a little semblance of privacy, you don't need much time. So that's the problem with these conjugal visits. It is different than a visitation where you are always in front of staff. If you're going to have some privacy and you have someone who is sick and wants to hurt, all you need is just a few moments for it to happen.
And you have some people that are asking, why do these inmates who, had to do bad things, and that's why they are in jail and prison, why are they even allowed conjugal visits? What do you say to that?
Exactly, my point.
Certainly a policy question. I served time in federal prison where there were no conjugal visits, and a judge and probation officer would say to you, if you were so concerned about conjugal visits, you probably shouldn't have broken the law. That is a consequence of your conviction. This is a state issue, and some states like California could be more liberal, allow these for people. They've determined through time and policy that this is a benefit some prisoners should have. Certainly other states say no, but in the federal system, they say absolutely no chance. In California, my home state, a little more liberal, they'll say this is a human need. And if someone's built a record that shows why they're a candidate for this closeness, which could lead to a better reintegration, connection to family, it's a benefit we're going to allow. But you can expect more scrutiny and perhaps a change in policy because of it, and a lot of upset prisoners as well.
Based on your experience, how do inmates serving life sentences without parole behave differently from those with a chance of release?
So I would argue there's
Look
two
at him.
approaches. I only served a year in
Oh,
prison.
child.
My partner served
Face
26
it.
years in
Yeah.
prison, including 8 years in the penitentiary,
What is she seeing him
where he
anyway?
served time with people serving life sentences. And I've heard there are two directions that people can go. One can say, I'm serving life in prison, so I don't really care what happens to me if I break the law, get into disciplinary infractions. I'm here for the remainder of my life. Others will say, yes, I'm here for the remainder of my life, but I want to educate, I want to teach, I want to mentor young prisoners who someday will leave, that there's a better path. Our program, our nonprofit, for example, we do work in every California prison. So prisoners serving life sentences will go through our work. So some will say, I want to educate and teach and give back and make sure nobody returns. Others will say, I don't care, I'm going to live my life. There are things that I want. And in some instances, continue to commit crime and allegedly, kill people, including family members.
Wow.
Are there any warning signs that an inmate could become violent towards a visitor, or are there cases like this where it could be, unpredictable?
Well, if you look at the history of this prisoner killing people in cold blood in 1994, right? So you have the history that led someone to a life sentence in prison. So right out of the gate, that is a telltale sign. Then you look at their prison record. What have they been doing? Are they programming? Are they going to education? Are they going to counseling? Are they building some record that shows that they're a candidate for this? Or is it?
Why would y'all think he's going to be a fucking candidate? Why y'all think he will get his life together? He's a stone cold murderer. Okay? He's a no good. Oh, Lord Jesus, God forgive me. He took this lady's life. Do y'all really think that he was going to get his life together after 4 people? That lady was another victim to him. Did y'all think about that? If I was her family, see, let me tell y'all what's going to happen. This man can't get no more time, y'all. He can't get no more time. So let's be realistic. He can't get no more time. He already done killed 4 people. He in there for life. Okay? He's never going to see daylight again, for one. For 2, that's why he did what he did, because he know he can't get no more time than what he already got. So by killing her, it was nothing to him. So what the hell are they talking about? Right? Now, the only thing they can do to this man and put this man in a maximum security prison. 24 hours watch security. That's all they can do for him. They can't give him no more time. He already got life. And the only thing her family probably could do is sue, if she can sue. That's it. I mean, this is crazy.
That we're going to let anyone who has access or who has been in prison long enough qualify for this program. We're of the opinion that you should earn your way home. You should earn your way, if they allow conjugal visits, to having a conjugal visit. You should earn your way to a furlough or more visitation. Rather than calendar pages turning and everyone benefits the same way, you should build a record that shows this is why I'm a candidate. And if you've built that record, you're less likely to have these issues, rather than saying we're going to allow it to everyone. It doesn't incentivize people to become better and qualify if everyone's going to get the same treatment, whether you watch the Kardashians or Sons of Anarchy all day in prison or you program.
What typically happens when an inmate calls for help in a situation like this? Is there usually an immediate assumption of foul play, or what?
Based on the record, there's usually an immediate assumption of foul play. Of course, they're going to send that prisoner to isolation, or they're going to lock that prisoner up during the investigation. And oftentimes there'll be a security lockdown, which can be very uncomfortable for prisoners who are in their prison routine, where it's now stopped and derailed, because many of them can go to segregation as well, especially if you knew that prisoner. So when I was in prison, if someone escaped, what they do is they immediately question everyone that prisoner associated with. In many instances, they may go to the holes for 1, 2, or 3 weeks where the investigation plays out. So everyone's routine is really disrupted, much higher security and fewer benefits for prisoners, which is a shame, because many prisoners have earned these benefits through good conduct.
He already had it planned out to kill her.
And if we can dive a little bit more into what the investigation potentially will look like. What would a proper investigation into a prison homicide, be? Could you break it down for us? And do you think this case will be handled differently because of the circumstances?
I think they know there's going to be more scrutiny on it, and the public's going to want accountability and some prudent transparency about what they found, the protocols, the breakdown. For example, how long were they left alone? Who approved this conjugal visit, given why this person was actually in prison? So I think there's going to be transparency around the investigation. I think people will be held accountable if there were some breakdowns along the way. That's been part of the problem with corrections in the past. We saw Epstein, who hung himself. The guards really weren't held accountable, and that led to conspiracy theories and things like that. So the investigation will be transparent. It will be very long. You can expect there to be changes in policy around who gets conjugal visits, if at all.
The murderers don't need
the
them.
way bureaucracy works. You can expect weeks and months and potentially years from now this investigation to be ongoing. Especially
rapists don't need them. Child molesters don't need it. They don't need them type of visits.
It's going to take some time to do it correctly.
Given that the officers immediately performed life-saving measures, tried to resuscitate the victim, could there have been a delay in realizing that she had been strangled?
I don't know. From what I've read, they, once they heard, they got in there as quickly as they could. And I think this comes back to what we discussed a little bit earlier. In visitation, you were going to have staff on you. So had this happened in a visitation room, staff would have pounced on you immediately. But if you have just a few minutes of time alone in a room with no windows or staff or cameras, that's all it takes. So I commend them for getting in as quickly as they could, but the damage, as we know, was already done. And I can understand the family asking questions like, how could this happen? How could they leave them alone? Do you not understand why he was serving a life sentence in prison? And just a few seconds is apparently all this person needed.
Is there a reason why there aren't cameras in the rooms? I mean, I understand wanting privacy, but just with the situation, given that this is a prison, why aren't there cameras?
Because I believe they deem this prisoner has reprogrammed himself, has had good enough behavior over decades in prison that he's changed his criminal thinking, or at least
like, no, this man can't be true. Reprogram himself? A person that murdered 4 people never going to reprogram themselves. You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me right now. You done kill 4 people, you're going to reprogram yourself? That's the same thing with a sex offender. A sex offender, what they do, they go to jail, spend there a little bit of time, and what they normally do, y'all, they come out and repeat the same behavior. So I know he just didn't sit there and say that. Like, come on.
This is going to be a family member, and this is a perk that he has earned. Why would he want to ruin that? So the prisoner is managing like dignity. This is a human connection that somebody needs versus security of the institution. It's a very thin line, and which is why correction tends to go in one direction or the other. It could be too loose, too many privileges. And now when this happens, what do? They totally reverse course. We're going to shut it down. No conjugal visits. They'll probably reassess who should actually get these visits, depending on the crime. How long are they in prison? What is their record while they're in prison? Rather than just allowing everyone to have it. It's part of the reason the federal system says it ain't going to happen. You don't deserve it.
Exactly. Tell me something
crime,
good.
But there are too many risks that accompany having a conjugal visit, and we're seeing the risk versus reward right now. It's led to the loss of a life and a reevaluation of policy. That much I can tell you.
Now, right now, we're unsure how the victim and the suspect met each other. We don't know how many years they have been married. But how do romantic relationships between inmates and visitors typically develop? And do prisons monitor them in any way?
It's very common to have these sorts of relationships. There are many websites where prisoners can document their journey through prison, and women can certainly follow them and connect. They can write letters to the prison. In some instances, they can get approved to visit. So we've seen people serving time who are on death row. The Menendez brothers, Charlie Manson, found love interests. So it's absolutely possible. Then they'll come and visit. A romance will grow over time. And in a case like California, they're going to allow these conjugal visits. But having served time in prison and having been in this space for 15 years, having worked with thousands and thousands of people through white collar advice, it is not hard for someone in prison to cultivate a romance with someone in the community. It's easier than you would ever imagine.
Are there psychological aspects, though, of prison relationships that could explain why someone would maintain a relationship with a convicted mass murderer?
Well, there's a stigma that follows a woman or man dating someone in prison. You have low self-esteem. There's something wrong with you. You had issues growing up. In some instances, people just fall in love and there's a connection. Some spouses who have married people in prison have said to me, it's almost easier in a way. We're not living together 24 hours a day. I get to visit them in a controlled setting. We get to have this sort of connection where they're in prison and I'm at home. It's much easier. Oftentimes when that prisoner comes home and they're living together again and they're working in this frenetic pace of day-to-day life, it becomes much harder. I've seen a lot of those relationships split up. It's like what we said we were going to do in prison, we didn't follow through when I came home. So I think it's a connection aspect and getting something that they currently were not getting from people in everyday regular life. And they find that connection in prison. Many of them actually work out. Some of the best relationships I know are people who have connected and married in prison. And in some instances, it can go totally awry, as we've seen here.
And for those instances where things go awry, what are some risks that people, especially women, should be aware of before getting romantically involved with an inmate?
Well, we have to embrace the idea that some people in prison are there because they manipulate. They have broken the law, right? Some people in prison are narcissists. They lack empathy.
Didn't I tell you all that? Didn't I just say that?
You, to manipulate you, to take advantage of you. And if you are vulnerable or easy to exploit or looking for some fantasy that you're currently not getting in your real world, you can be manipulated and fall for it. Many people in prison have been successful, good salespeople, have the ability to get what they want. And if you are vulnerable, you can
tell me something good. Yeah, I believe that.
Fall victim to these sorts of things. And then people will defend you and say, well, you don't know them how I do. You see this with mass murderers, people serving life. You don't know them how I know them. There's a side of you aren't seeing. You got it wrong. The government has a different version of events. They're out to get him. You haven't seen what I have seen. And in many ways, you could argue they fall victim for it, as others have as well, just in a little different area. Love.
Now, earlier we touched on the possibility of things potentially changing after this incident would have happened. Do you think prisons should reevaluate who is eligible for family visits?
There is no doubt prisons should reevaluate who is eligible. Just like we think people should earn their way home. Like I said, rather than just watching TV all day, you should get rewarded if you build a record, show that you're law-abiding, growing your network, educating yourself, programming, demonstrating to taxpayers why you will never return to another courtroom and hurt people. Those prisoners who do that work and document it and build it and share evidence of growth should be rewarded with myriad benefits. Perhaps in California, it's conjugal visits. Perhaps it could be furloughs. Perhaps it could be earning more time off of their sentence. We believe in a merit-based system. If you do the work, you should get rewarded and also earn your way home more quickly.
Now, should there be stricter monitoring of inmates who are already serving life sentences to prevent cases like this? Or do you think that the prison system does a good job?
There should be more monitoring. It wouldn't surprise me in the end if they just say conjugal visits are going to continue, but certain crimes are going to be totally disallowed, right? Perhaps they'll say if you're serving a life sentence, if you have no release date, which compels someone to continue to engage in bad behavior because they're never coming home, it wouldn't surprise me if they draw a line in the sand and say that's
exactly.
Maybe someone serving 20 years, 15 years, 10 years, who's working their way home, who is less inclined to break the law because they have a clearly defined release date, but also they are demonstrating why they're a candidate.
Didn't I just say that, y'all? A person that's in prison that's never coming home, they shouldn't be allowed to have overnight visits. But they can have visits in the hall, in the visiting hall, with everybody else around security. But when you got people that's there, that's working their way, that does not have life, and they're coming home, then let them have that visit. Because I don't think they will ruin their life to unalive somebody, and they know they're going to see the streets again. But when you got a person like this man that committed 4 murders, never going to see the street again, why did he care? He did not care. Again, he's not going back to court. They can't give him no more time, okay? Because he already got life. What else they can offer him? They can't offer him anything else but put him in a confinement jail, okay? That's all they can do, okay? And this lady now lost her life. Now, I'm going to get into her when I finish.
For an earlier release, that's the type of prisoner I suspect will be rewarded. So I expect conjugal visits in California to continue, because you could expect probably liberal lawmakers to say, this has been going on for decades. It's a benefit for prisoners. This is an isolated incident. In situations like this, these things unfortunately will happen. the greater good still benefits, even though in this case the family has been absolutely devastated. You can expect it to continue with some policy changes, perhaps the length of the sentence and the crime that led that person to prison. That just seems logical to me, but logic doesn't always dictate corrections in this country.
If Brinson is charged with his wife's murder, how will that impact his current life sentence, if at all?
They're just going to add another life sentence. And he could spend perhaps more time in segregation. I believe
Another life sentence. What the
if he's
fuck
not
is
at the
that?
higher security prison, you can expect him to go up to a higher security prison. But
Yeah,
he's already in for the rest of his life. That comes back to what we said earlier. Some
Another
prisoners
life
serving life
sentence.
sentences want to
That
help
don't
other
make
prisoners,
sense.
ensure they never come back. Others just want to engage and break the law.
He was never
And
coming
they're
home
left to
anyway.
say the only way I'm getting out of here is in a body bag. So what the hell's the difference? I'm just going to live my life.
Well, this is something that we will be following closely. Thank you so much, Justin, for taking the time today.
Thank you for the invitation.
In a statement, CDCR told Law and Crime, quote, CDCR family visits are a privilege, and incarcerated persons must apply and meet strict eligibility criteria to be approved. Only those who demonstrate sustained good behavior and meet specific program requirements are considered. These visits are designed to support positive family connections and successful rehabilitation. For Law and Crime, I'm Kennedy Walker.
Well, baby, let me tell you something. And I'm just not going to like get on him. I got to say something about her too. May God rest her soul in peace. But I felt like this lady could have did better. She was a beautiful lady. I don't know what led her into meeting this man on the internet like that. Like I said, I'm quite sure this lady did know this man was in jail for life. It's just no way that she did not know that this man was in jail for life. I mean, what can this man do for her? I don't understand it. You just, you threw away your whole life. She was a beautiful woman. I don't know what she was thinking. I don't know what she thought she was going to get from him. I mean, why would you marry a man in jail to be your husband? It's just a lot I can say, but I won't say because I respect her. You know what I'm saying? But I will say, like this guy said, he didn't lie. Low self-esteem, childhood trauma. She felt better dating a man in prison than on the streets. I mean, he practically said the same thing I said. And what did I say, y'all? This man sounded like he probably was a narcissist. And what the man said, those guys in jail are narcissists. They manipulate the women. No, you can't make this shit up. You cannot make this shit up. You just can't. It's crazy. It's sad. I'm sorry that she lost her life like that, but you got to be careful out here. You really do got to be careful out here. I mean, me per se, myself, I don't want to meet no guy in jail. I'm not dating no guy in jail. I didn't know you before you went there, and I don't want to know you now. And I'm just being real about it. I mean, you got some people don't feel the way I feel, but I'm not dealing with no man in jail. No. Hold on, y'all. Not me. Sorry. She can't get her life back. I know her family is hurt and everything, but I don't know. That was kind of weird to me. So let's move along, y'all. I was seeing some of y'all comments, but I know y'all had some good comments coming through because, baby, I didn't understand it. I didn't understand it. It was crazy. All right, let me get another one here. All right, let me see.
This woman accused of murdering her own sister because that woman and her long-distance boyfriend had been flirting, apparently. 21-year-old Fatima Marzan is accused of stabbing her 20-year-old sister 3 to 4 times. Deputies say Marzan recently found out that her sister would flirt with the boyfriend while playing video games, so
Take
she
her
bought
money
a
and
set
waste
of
her
knives
time.
2 weeks
Exactly.
ago with plans to kill
You
her
ain't
sister.
never lied.
Marzan is now in jail with no bond.
I'm back and I had to leave for a bit. Okay. Thank you,
This
Open
video
Book. If anyone
contains the
like to buy me a
interrogation of a
coffee,
woman who
donate,
killed her sister
you are
for
welcome
flirting
to
with her
do
boyfriend.
so.
Fatia Marzan met Joseph Farmer online, and as their friendship grew, Marzan believed he was the man she would marry. The couple carried on a long-distance relationship for 5 years,
Put a one
and
in the chat
Marzan
if y'all can
soon
hear.
focused solely on doing whatever she could to speed up the process so they could get married. She got a job and let her social life fall to the side. Any interests she once had, such as gaming, were given up as well. Things were going smoothly until Marzan's younger sister, Samia, entered the picture. The two women shared a bedroom in their parents' home, and Marzan quickly noticed that Samia and Farmer were getting too friendly in their online messages. She spoke about her feelings to her boyfriend and sister, but it was largely ignored. When Marzan believed she had lost Farmer to her sister, she decided that not only was life not worth living, but that she didn't want the couple to be together. She ordered a pair of daggers online and then waited for a time when she knew her family would be asleep. She stabbed Samia through the heart multiple times, but was caught by another sister before she could take her own life.
So you called 911 earlier in reference to your sister, and I spoke to where's her name? Miriam. Okay, and she kind of explained kind of what's going on. So I guess I just want to understand, like, from your point of view, what happened?
She was, like, intentionally trying to steal my fiance that I have talked to daily for 5 years.
Although the couple had been in a long-distance relationship for 5 years, there was no formal engagement.
Are we talking about Joseph?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she said it was just getting worse. And she didn't care about how it made me feel. And she had broken up with her ex when this started, and the first thing she came to was the most convenient person. And I told her, and we talked about it multiple times. And I told her to find someone else because this one is already taken.
Exactly,
and she
Robbie.
kept pressing, and things are just getting worse. And I could see that she still had no intention of stopping, and everything was just ruined. And she doesn't care. And I just couldn't stand seeing them together. I didn't want to.
Well, I'm sorry that you felt that way.
So it made me really angry. And I tried for over almost a year now to just try to have it be normal or stay strong about it. But she just wouldn't. She wouldn't stop.
And what was she doing exactly with Joseph that made you feel like she was trying to take him from you?
Basically, like, trying to be in a relationship practically already in.
Did Joseph feel that way? Like, or was he just being nice and talking
Right,
to
Miss
him?
Hill, she sounded like she a little kid, but she's grown, Lord.
He was trying to help her through it, but then she was just like, I don't know. She just flirts with everyone.
And Joseph, what's Joseph's last name?
Farmer.
Farmer. Okay. Do you know his birthday?
August 21st, 2022.
August 21st, 2000. Okay. Joseph does not live in Florida right now, correct?
No.
Where does he live?
North Carolina.
Do you know, like, what city or?
Chapel Hill.
Okay. When 5 years. When did you and Joseph meet?
2017.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember what year or what month?
October. So it's basically 5 years now.
Yep. And how'd you guys meet?
In a group chat on Skype.
On a group chat on Skype? Okay. Have you met him in person? Okay. How many times have you?
Once. We were going to move out together, and then my sister knew how hard I was working to save up money. I was working 60 plus hours a week. And in the meantime, she was just doing that behind my back.
Where did that one time that you met Joseph, where was that at?
He was only here for a bit, so it was at a hotel. He was traveling to Miami because he lived there most of his life, but then on the way back he figured he could stop by.
Sure. Okay. Do you remember like when that was exactly?
It was 2019. Wait, I think it was 2019, July.
July, okay.
Yeah.
And you said that you were working like 60 plus hours. Is that in 1 week or like in a 2-week pay period?
1 week.
In 1 week. Okay. Tell me about your job. What do you do?
I caption calls for the hard of hearing.
Caption calls for people that can't hear? Okay. How does that work exactly?
I like listen in, and I'm just transcribing what the other person is saying to the person who can't hear. So then I type it out or speak it mostly, and then they see the words on their screen. So if they can't catch everything, they can see what's said, and it helps them.
Okay. So you caption calls for essentially for deaf, right?
Or almost deaf.
Yeah. Okay.
Most of them are elderly, but some of them not.
Yeah. Okay. And you said you've been doing that for 3 years? Okay. And so you've been working for the past 3 years to try to save up to get a place with Joseph? Okay.
And I first started, I paid off my car. That was $16,000. And then
when you first started working there?
Yeah,
okay.
And then my goal was to pay off my car so that I don't have to worry about that while paying rent.
Yeah.
And then the past year, I've mostly just been doing those extra hours.
For the past year?
Except the past few months.
What do you mean the past few months? What happened?
That's when I started. I think there was like less extra hours available.
Marzan was actively building her life to be with her boyfriend, something that her sister couldn't have failed to have missed.
There wasn't as much availability. Okay.
And I also had less motivation.
Motivation? Okay. You maybe felt like you were overworked or something else?
It was, the situation was getting complicated. And
with you and Joseph? Or, okay, I didn't know if you're talking about work or if you're talking about, yeah, okay. So, like, things were you were hitting some speed bumps in your relationship. Yeah, okay. Okay, that's understandable. I mean, if you're with someone for 5 years, I would assume there's always hard times, but, you do your best to work through it and get through it together, which it sounds like you tried very hard to do so. You had said that your sister, over the last year, has been making advanced movements towards Joseph and flirting. You said that she flirts with everyone. How exactly did they communicate that you know of?
Just every, texting, calling, playing games together, just doing anything.
Samya and Farmer mostly communicated through the online game Valorant. Marzan was able to see the screen because of the small size of the room she and her sister shared.
That you would do with a normal couple.
Okay. And I guess, did you see these text messages or hear these phone calls? Like, how do you know they happened?
Like, she lives in the same room as me.
Sure.
And so then, it's obvious when they're playing together because I'll see them on the same game. It has like activity status on Discord. Or even if I'm at work, I can tell afternoon about it. And then, she would usually leave the room to call. And then during that period, he doesn't text me either. And I just knew it was calling.
She would leave the room to call him? Okay, so you're not certain?
Well, no, I'm sure it's actually calling him.
Okay. How do you
There
know?
were certain times like,
I mean, I definitely understand, like, the gut feeling, like, just knowing that, like, something's not right. Like, I feel like every female has it. Like, when something's just not right, or you feel like your man's doing something that, like, he shouldn't be doing, like, we all get these feelings, and, like, most of the time we're not wrong. So I get that, but I'm saying, like, did you see on her phone his name, and then...
Yes. Sometimes I come home and I see they're sleeping on the phone together.
Okay.
Or I'll hear, because sometimes it's like she goes to sleep but he's playing. And he does that with me usually, but then sometimes I'll be at work, so I come home late and she's already sleeping, and then I see on her phone his number.
It was not worth.
Do you know his number by heart? No.
I usually Skype call.
You Skype call? Okay. How do you guys communicate normally? Is it, you said Skype?
Calling or texting.
Okay. And do you text like normal phone numbers, or is it through some sort of app?
Discord.
Discord?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Or Discord?
Discord.
Discord.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I just learned about it tonight, so I'm still trying to understand it. Do you also like game and play?
I used to a little more.
Yeah.
But then I started working.
Yeah, you're busy. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so you call, you message each other on Discord, and then you also Skype, right? You said Skype? Okay.
Recently, the thing we play most is Runeterra. It's a card game. Runeterra.
Runeterra. Okay. Do you guys like that one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so your other sister, I'm probably Miriam
is how I say it, but you can say Miriam.
Miriam, okay. Okay. She said that she also kind of like communicates with Joseph as well, like through Discord, and like, so that's normal. Is that normal to you? I
can see their texts because we're in a server together.
Okay.
And they talk normally. My other sister, she respects that.
Okay.
And she, doesn't overstep.
So they're like friends, and that's okay. Because I mean, obviously, she would have never known Joseph had it not been for you, right?
Yeah.
Your younger sister. Right, for both sisters, right? So okay. So I just wanted to understand, because it seems like Joseph kind of like is a gamer as well, and like so, the fact that he's talking to both your sisters, I just didn't understand, or I didn't know if there was like some sort of animosity with him talking to one versus the other, or how you felt about it.
What's animosity?
Like upset, like, or felt like kind of like, are both of your sisters feel like, do you feel like both of your sisters are betraying you? I'm sorry.
My youngest, the youngest sister, she, it's like a kind of a past record thing of, she's considerate towards me, and the other one is past record of just not considering like my belongings or just my feelings at all.
Yeah.
It's like been since we were little, and she just doesn't.
So you guys are what, a year apart? Yeah, if that. So you're close in age, and have you always shared a room?
For a long time.
There had been a history of sibling rivalry, and the animosity had probably been building for years. When a romantic relationship was at stake, it was more than Marzan could stand.
It was kind of we switched rooms around with a lot of siblings, but a long time had shared the same room.
Okay, because I don't think I have your, her birthday's in March, right? So, March of 02, so like a year and some time. But, okay, so you guys are pretty close, like she's your closest sibling in age, correct? Right, okay.
The youngest sister, so she was like, I can see that she's just, being friendly. She's not flirting with him, but the other one is intentionally flirting with him.
Is there any like thing specific that you like would consider her flirting, so I can understand like an example?
Sounds like to me she got very upset over this.
Or like what you consider flirting to be? When it comes to the two of them, like what does she do?
I think sending texts about like how like, oh, you're so handsome, heart emoji, things like that.
Okay.
Also, he's really honest still, so he tells me the things too.
So he tells you what she says to him?
If I ask, yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. And so you had mentioned that you can see your younger sister's messages with him because you share a server, but you can't see your...
We don't share any servers together.
Saima. Yeah, you can't see her. So you have to share in order to see each other's stuff? Like, do you have to
then you're
actively
like
share?
multiple people in a place versus like just one-on-one.
Okay.
So with him, she just does one-on-one, but it's not us three in any time together.
Okay. Okay. I'm just trying to understand Discord and like how it works and like if you can share something or
like
not, or if it's like so it's more like a three-way, like you have to include everyone and then everyone can see what's going on. It's like a group chat.
It's a group chat,
Yeah,
but
okay.
the difference is the servers have some like more features. Like you can join a little voice call together.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, I've never heard of this, so I'm interested. Okay, so your sister has been essentially trying to steal your boyfriend or your fiance, I'm sorry, and it's just kind of taken a toll on you. It's been a long time coming. You've been working very hard to become more independent with Joseph and to get your own place. And
which she had knowledge of.
And and I mean, that room's small, so I'm sure there's, whatever you do, she knows, and whatever she does, you know. So it's just been a long time coming. And so tell me what happened earlier this morning.
I kind of decided that I would rather, since I thought there was no end to it, and things had already like gotten past the point of me, like that I was past the point that I was okay with. To be honest, I didn't want them together at all. Just the fact knowing that she knew everything and was doing it intentionally. Like if it was like some other situation, some other way it pulled it out, I probably could have taken it normally, but this was just deliberate and it hurt too much. And it just made me hate her. And I figured that I don't want them together, but also if I did anything, he'd probably hate me anyway too. So I was going to just do both of us. But my youngest sister, there was a gap in the time because I felt sick after doing it, and I just needed a nap, so I took a nap. And I was already sure, like, she was gone. But then I took a nap, and then when I woke up, I was trying to just sort things out before going, but my youngest sister felt like something was going on, that I was being weird. So then she came to check up on me. So I have a weak spot for her. So I let her in the room and I told her everything. But she talked me out of it.
Marzan felt hopeless and saw no way out of the situation and had planned not to survive.
So then I was like, okay. I called my older sister and she told me I should call the ambulance. So, yeah, my youngest sister didn't want me to do anything.
What weapon did you use?
Like a dagger.
Okay. Is it the one that was on the bed? Okay.
There
Where did you
was
get it?
another one.
Okay.
On the desk. Amazon.
Amazon. Okay. Did you order it or did someone else? You ordered it? Okay. Do you remember when?
Like a week or so ago, maybe 2 weeks.
Okay. And what was your reasoning for ordering it?
What I felt I had to do.
What you felt you had to do? So you've been thinking about this for a little bit?
I've had an impulse that I've been trying to put away, but it's just like, I didn't see any more options. I tried to be optimistic. I tried to do every other way. I tried waiting. I tried talking about it, and nothing was working.
When you say talking about it with who?
Both of them.
Joseph and...
I talked to a few of my friends about it too, but everyone just gives me this advice, we'll just leave him. I'm like, that's easy to say.
When you say you talked to other like friends, was it like phone calls or text messages or through the
text messages?
Through
They're all on Snapchat.
Yes, it is, Robin. Yes.
Okay. So no like conversation, like video or like voice or okay. Okay. And is the Amazon, is that your account or is it a family account?
My account.
Your account? Is it under your name? Like your full name? Okay. Have you always had an Amazon account? Okay. For like a long time or?
Yeah. A couple of years now.
A couple of years. Okay. You okay?
Mm-hmm. Can't come.
She sounded like she had a breakdown.
So I mean, so you've been, thinking about this for a little while now, and
she had a breakdown.
Like you said, you tried to not think about it, and you tried
she
to
could have
talk about it, and you tried to. What else did you say that you were doing to try to?
That she felt like was no way out.
About it, waiting, like just trying to compartmentalize.
Could have got help for this, instead of
to potentially like talk yourself out of it, like to not do this. Okay.
Waiting for things to change, or
especially when people do things that they're supposed to love you,
It got worse. Okay.
And you be portrayed in the worst way.
Was Joseph like was he complimenting her back? Was he doing these things that she was doing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I feel like a lot of it comes from he wanted her not to be sad. And she would request things, for example, like, oh, why don't you match profile pictures with me? You do that with her. And she kind of just wanted both of us to be happy.
Sounds like she had a great few future.
And then I could see her, because I know him, I know how he acts because of
and
what
it sounded like this took a toll on her.
And I could see the difference, or like the influence, and like his mindset changing.
Especially it hurts you when your own family do shit like that to you.
Even after admitting that Farmer was flirting as well, she still places all of the blame on her sister. This may stem from their already poor relationship.
Yes.
And she's upset because
we never had a good relationship.
And he's with you. Okay.
And she wants it only them two, not me in the picture.
Right.
He's fine with both in the picture.
Okay.
So, and I kind of
boyfriend
was
trying to
like
encourage her
extent,
not to do that. You know what I'm saying? He didn't care about her neither.
Like you were okay with them having
nothing
like a friendship and like talking still and communicating, but you didn't want her to disrespect the relationship you had with Joseph, right? Okay. I'm not trying to put like any words in your mouth or anything. I'm just trying to understand and make sure I understand what you're telling me.
She was just going all out.
Okay.
And I told her not to do that, and she said she wouldn't. So she just always says things to make me stop talking. Feels like.
Okay. Do you know if she has you know what kind of phone she has?
No.
No? Okay. Would you know if she had a password on her phone?
I think it's a Samsung. I think her passcode's just her fingerprint.
Okay. You've never seen her put in like numbers or like draw, like Samsung's I think you can draw.
I don't think, so, but I see on there it says like Touch ID.
Okay. Yeah, I'm curious. I wanna see like potential messages. I wanna see like, you know, what she's been doing to make you feel this way. So I just didn't know with you guys, the bed, you know, the room, everything's so close that you may have seen her.
It definitely sounds like some buildup. It definitely does. Sound like some buildup.
Without you in it?
And then I can't come back in because she just wants to talk to him.
So you knew of their relationship and you told her basically like, I want you to respect my like romantic relationship with Joseph, but you can still have a friendship with him. Is that true? Yes? Okay. And so that friendship for them consisted of like
they got past the point of a friendship.
In your eyes.
Because of what she wanted.
Did you hear her saying what she wanted? Like what, or did you just what you felt?
She told me, like.
Okay. What did he tell you?
And his sister, God rest her soul in peace, she didn't have no boundaries. Because if she had boundaries, she wouldn't have even did this to her own sister.
No one example if he did it meant that there was flirting and that he said that.
He didn't know there was flirting?
Yeah, that she says I love you.
She tells him that she loves him? Okay.
I think he started doing it too.
And he wasn't no good neither.
And when was this? When did he tell you all this stuff?
Well, different things came at different times, but it started October last year. I asked a lot of questions when I found out. And at that point, it was already like.
It sounds like to me that his sister been messing with her boyfriend.
Before that was like.
And it just came out. It sounds like they probably been messing around.
Okay. How long have they? Because you're.
Kind of on and off. Because, like, there was a time when.
Thank you, Brittany.
I don't know. I just didn't want her talking to him because I know how she is, so I told her to block him.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like too. It sounds like she was a good woman.
They were still friends,
and she feel like she you know,
when I told her not to talk
she was portrayed in the worst way. And the worst way was her sister.
Asking me because of her breakup.
So the sister didn't only portray
when
her.
Did she? That's what I was
boyfriend
when
did
did
also.
She break up with her boyfriend?
I think it was 2020. Maybe early 2020. I know when she started feeling, she was the one who broke up with him. That's also what bothers me. She did it. She spent months not looking back at him, and then he wanted her the whole time. Only at the last second when he finally moved on, she just felt like, well, you moved on. But she was the one who broke up with him. And then that happened in maybe June, like that.
Okay.
2020.
Okay.
With her sister continuing to ignore her request to leave Farmer alone, and Farmer not cutting the contact himself, Marzan believed there was no way to salvage the relationship.
And so then after that was when he kind of tried talking to different people and eventually tried talking to Joseph about it.
She did? Mm-hmm. But October of last year is when things like got worse, like when she tried to take their friendship to another level, even though you are with Joseph. Okay. Okay. And do you feel like Joseph like started to have feelings for her, and that's why it's been difficult these last, and that's what you've been trying to work through and get on better terms with him for? Okay.
Because he liked both of us.
Yeah, that's difficult.
And then at some point I just felt it was like more her. You know, after I tried waiting for, because I know she doesn't want me in the picture, so I figured maybe she should just leave when she realizes that he's not going to just be with her. But then he felt guilty.
He felt guilty for
doing that to me.
Okay.
And then it
like leaving you? Or
even before he left me, that was the reason he kind of left me. Because he was more complicated because he felt guilty. So then he wasn't, like, he liked me, but he just felt bad.
Because he liked the both of you at the same time?
He wanted to leave both of us, but she...
And this was like this year? This year was like the complication, or?
Yeah, complications, but...
well, this specifically about like leaving you and then not type deal, like that stuff. When was that?
That was a few months ago.
So did you guys like have a little, you said June?
Yeah.
Like, did you have a little breakup, or?
A little break, yeah.
A little break.
Where we were like, okay, just kind of like friends.
And he continued to talk to Simon? Okay. That's difficult.
Right.
And then I guess how did you guys reconcile, or like how did? I mean, because you're telling me that he's your fiance, so obviously you guys got back together. Do you remember like when, or like how that came about?
Because you mean like when it came? He was like it didn't come back, but he basically was for most of it.
Okay.
So we were still gonna, like, we weren't gonna stop talking to each other.
Okay. But you technically weren't together?
Technically.
Okay. Was he with your sister? Like,
not yet.
Or he was not,
but there was like a wait, like a break, and then see what how it plays out.
Okay, so like a break from both of you.
And then there was like potential of what she wanted.
Okay. And that's kind of when you couldn't talk yourself out of the things. Okay, so in June, this kind of happened, like the complicated stuff. And it's been going on ever since. But he still talks to both of you? In like just a friendly way, or just like, I mean...
It feels like it's... It feels like he's nicer to her than me.
He was being nicer to her than you? Okay.
Than me, he feels guilty.
He feels guilty, why? Because he's hurting you? or he feels guilty because he likes her? Or, I'm sorry.
Kind of both.
Farmer was playing the sisters off of each other, but Marzon could not see that.
Playing both of the sisters.
But yeah, he feels bad.
Look, you know, one sister going to jail the rest of her life,
As he should.
and then the other sister is gone for good.
Not really
So this
nice.
man was no good himself. He was no good, and I wish him.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm asking a lot of questions. I'm just like super curious, obviously, and I don't know you, you know, and I don't know Joseph, and I just want to try to understand. Yeah, I just want to try to understand the most I can. I'm not, you know, I'm not trying to, you know, pry too much, but I'm just trying to make sure I make sense of it and that I understand because it's important. So, did you talk to Joseph at all tonight? Yes. And how did you do that?
Called him.
Called him? Okay, and is that like through Skype or like his actual phone number?
Actual phone number.
Okay.
Because he wasn't picking up Skype.
He wasn't picking up Skype. Okay. When you talked to him, was it like you have an iPhone, right? Was it on FaceTime? Like, could you see him, or was it just a voice call? Okay. And that was before you had called for an ambulance, right? Okay. What exactly, like, what was the extent of that conversation?
Well, I told him what I did.
Okay.
He didn't understand. He thought I could have done, and I felt like I didn't have much options.
Right.
But he felt like I should have talked about it and there was options, and I told him I tried talking about it. I just didn't the specific extent, but I did do everything. Tried talking about it multiple times. Told him how it made me feel and how I just wanted it, like, to be gone. But he didn't really understand, and he was really just
He understood. He didn't care about you or your sister.
No,
He definitely understood it clearly. He understood how it made you feel. It made you feel very uncomfortable, depressed, angry,
already planned for
unhappy.
that he would feel. But
he knew. He didn't care.
I didn't expect my sister to talk to him about that.
So do you remember, like, what time the incident took place? Like,
when I did it? 4:30 a.m.
And why does that time? Like,
why did I choose that time?
Or how did you know it was that time?
I checked the phone.
You checked your phone? Okay. And so you guys sleep in that bed together, I'm assuming? Okay. Did you guys both, like, go to bed the night prior? At the same time, or?
She sleeps earlier than we usually.
What time did she go to bed?
Oh, that night,
Last night.
Last night. Maybe around 3
a.m.?
Yeah.
Okay. So she went to bed around 3. And you were still up? Okay. What time do you normally go to bed?
Like 5 or 6.
In the morning? Okay.
Yeah, she definitely is calm.
You went to bed, I'm sorry, this morning
Yes,
you
like,
took a little, you said you had napped.
I'm going
You
to
said
jail
5?
anyway. I might as well just
That
tell the
time I
truth.
napped at.
In a way, I feel sorry for her.
Or you went to bed at 5 today, or you went to bed at 6? Sorry. Or just,
I think last night I went to bed around.
Yeah, I don't think she got no emotion about her sister. I think her sister did a day wrong.
so but you normally go between 5 and 6. You normally fall asleep, and your sister normally falls asleep around 3. But last night she fell asleep around 3, right? And then you fell asleep.
Normally she might fall asleep around 2.
Okay. But last night she went to bed at 3. Okay. And then you normally you go to bed or between 5 and 6, but last night you went to bed at what time did you say?
Probably 5.
5. Okay.
I don't remember exactly how long after, but it wasn't too long after because I just felt nauseous.
So was your sister asleep
Marzon chose that time specifically because she knew her family would be finished with prayers and would have had enough time to fall asleep.
Okay. She never woke up?
Well, she did.
Okay. When it was happening? Okay. Do you remember how many times you used the knife?
Hmm. 3 or 4.
Do you remember where on her body?
Heart.
Her heart? Okay. I'm assuming that's where you wanted.
Tuesday and Wednesday, Joanne, you missed a lot. We had a great live.
Do you have any injuries?
Tuesday and Wednesday, yeah.
And you said she woke up? Okay. Did she say anything?
Mm-hmm. What the? And also helped.
Did you say anything to her?
Denise, I didn't even know you were still in the chat.
Stop, because she was moving too much.
Denise is funny. Oh, Lord. Hey, Denise, you said she's going to interview, huh? A job interview.
And you said that you've been like battling with this since you had ordered the knife. That's how. So you kind of have thought about this before, and I mean, you stabbed her in her heart. I feel like that meant something to you, right? Yeah.
Babe, I ain't killing nobody over no man. I'm just so sorry.
Do you visit the doctors? Have you ever visited the doctors?
Just any?
Like a pediatrician or like a specialist or anything like that?
Not really. I used to go when I was little. I think one of the last ones I went to was I was trying to see what I could do at the dentist.
Okay.
And I went for my eyeglasses.
Okay, you have a hard time seeing?
Yeah, I forgot to bring them.
Oh gosh, okay.
I'm more close to the paper.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, so you have a hard time seeing, and then you felt like you had gone maybe like to a dentist to try to look at your teeth. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know, Robbie. I was trying to.
One of your sisters told me you graduated from Colonial High School. Yeah. Okay. Did you like going to that school? Meh. Okay. Did you get good grades? Like, were you a good student? Yeah.
I didn't have too many friends, like the last 3 years. The 12th year, my 12th grade, I had dual enrollment full time, so I was just not really ever there. I was at college.
Mm-hmm. So you're smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They wanted me to go to college. They're like, you want to do dual enrollment? I was like, man, I'll think about it. And then the next year I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you met friends like more through college, or?
I actually.
Yeah, it don't say her age.
I had friends at college. I had a couple of friends in my classes at high school. In 9th grade, I was more real life involved, but the last years of college, I was mostly just online.
No, I think she's comfortable talking to this detective.
So like you're
I wish she went and got some mental health
through
someone like she's talking to the detective and she's going to be in this situation.
Like online virtual world game.
Online gaming. Okay.
And then other ones I met on PlayStation games.
Okay. But you've always liked games, like for, like, I guess before you were like serious about your job, you liked video games and the gaming systems and stuff like that. Okay. Okay. And like in high school, did you ever get in trouble?
I don't see it.
Once, because I tried going home early on my birthday because I wanted to go somewhere, but there's like a little security lady on the golf cart. She noticed it, and then she's like, "Hey, you can't do that."
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Those golf cart people, they get their They get around quick on those things. Okay, so like you tried to play hooky on your birthday.
The detective has taken a gentle, friendly approach, and it is working. Marzan has remained relaxed and open, readily answering every question without shutting down.
Okay.
But you got caught, so you didn't really play hooky. But okay, so did you have to like do? No, she just was like, go back to class. Don't do it again. Okay. But like you've never been in trouble like for fighting or any of that stuff like.
I was the quiet kid.
Quiet, yeah.
But then no one has any reason to dislike me because I'm just nice.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah, that's how your sister described you. She described you as nice. So okay. I guess like, how do you feel right now?
Kind of sad. Well, I didn't plan on being here for the aftermath, but then I knew what it would be that he wouldn't want to talk to me, so I'm kind of sad. Like he sees me the way he does now.
It's just as easy the way he does, yeah.
I keep wondering if maybe it was a bad choice. But I thought about it and I just did it because of reasons.
Right, yeah, reasons that we've talked about.
And then those reasons are like harder to see now that it's over with. Just because there's like a sense of getting it over with.
Right. Okay, that makes.
So then it makes me wonder if it was after the fact.
Right. And you're saying that your sister had caught you. Well, first you said you took a nap, right? And then when did you leave? Around what time did you leave your room?
Oh, I didn't leave my room. She wanted in.
She wanted in.
I
Okay.
had been texting her.
Okay.
She noticed like the past couple of days I was weird, and then I was texting her like. I said she was the best, and she was like, "Oh, that seems weird." Why would she say that?
Okay, just telling her. Okay. Did she know what you were gonna do?
She kind of got a hint just from. I did accidentally mess up because I sent a message and she got a preview of it, but I didn't mean to send it. I meant to edit another message so it wouldn't give a notification. But basically, she kind of saw part of it.
No, that's
when it came up. And then
at all.
she was kind of.
What's going through her head right now?
What did the message say that she made saw?
No, I was telling her that what I did.
Oh, you told her what you had already done? Oh, okay. I'm talking about before what happened at 4:30.
At 4:30? Oh, my other sister.
Yeah, did she know that you were going to do what you did to your...
She didn't know until I was going to do.
Until it already happened.
Yeah.
And then you were contemplating trying to potentially kill yourself, right? Okay. And I guess, what was your reasoning for wanting to kill yourself?
That it felt like everything was already ruined and that it was only going to get worse.
Things with you and Joseph were already ruined? Okay.
Yeah, and then there's just everyone would see me like a certain way because they don't understand the situation.
Right. Okay. Have you ever tried to harm yourself?
I didn't expect.
You did what?
I didn't ever imagine doing anything like that to me or someone else.
Sure.
But I don't really have much passion for anything, but he was one of the only things I did have passion for. So my feelings about everything were just heightened.
Marzan had made Farmer the entire focus of her life, even neglecting friendships in favor of working harder to make living with him possible. Farmer never made any similar effort, which should have told Marzan that this relationship wasn't worth pursuing.
Yeah, it seems like you were head over heels.
Worth it. Get on.
We heard that saying before. Okay. Is there anything else about like the complicated situation that you feel like I don't have a good understanding on, or anything that you think is important that I know? Does Joseph live by himself? Does he live with his parents?
He has.
Really?
Well, his parents got divorced, but now he has his mom and a little brother.
Okay.
But he's usually alone in his room.
Okay. Do you know his mom's name?
Kyle.
Kyle?
No, Kayo.
Kayo. That's his mother's name?
Mm-hmm.
Is her last name Farmer?
No, Sakuragi.
Oh, bless. You know how to spell that?
Mm-hmm. Sakuragi.
No, she's in good spirit, honey. What the hell?
That's it. Okay.
Shit, I'd be crying.
And what's his brother's name?
Will Farmer.
Is it William, by any chance, or do you think it's just Will? Or not sure?
Not sure.
Okay. And do you know how old he is?
Will?
Approximately.
I say maybe 13 or 14.
Okay. Your Amazon account, is there a password for it?
Mm-hmm.
What's the password? I just want to see that purchase.
Okay. I think that's...
They're going to use that against her. Can y'all hear me?
Anything else?
It should be that
You're going to use that against her.
you need.
Yeah, just in case it's not there.
That's why she answered that
Probably like an
password.
email, if I'm not mistaken.
I have 2 emails. I'm not sure which one it is.
You can give me both.
And the other one is...
Is that your sister's name just sound right?
No, my one is M-Y, and then her one is Y-M.
Okay, so S-A-M-Y-A M-A.
It's not my legal name, but it's the name everyone calls me.
Okay. That could be one, and then what's the other?
Yeah, they stop it when they talk about important stuff. She giving out information.
Okay. And then, do you know your username for Discord?
Blondpire. Oh, sorry, BLONDEIE. I Actually, wait, no. You have to put in the email. It's the second email.
The MEEP. Yeah.
Is it required to look through my messages?
No. I'm just asking what your username is for the Discord.
No, they're gonna go into
I'll
your
be real
shit
honest though. I'm
and see
probably
that
going
person.
to look through them. It just depends on how I do so, whether it's through a search warrant or not, which I would probably do a search warrant anyways. But it's just easier to find your information this way. So it's just part of the investigation.
Because the talk was over call.
With Joseph today? Or wait?
Oh, that time and like the breakup thingy. That was both over call. Most of the important stuff is over call.
Gotcha. Did you send like pictures of yourself or something that you like? What's your hesitation? Why you don't want me to see the messages? I mean, I'll be real honest. You've been pretty straight up about everything, so I'm curious why you feel like hesitating or not wanting me to see it.
One, I'm not sure if there's pictures.
Okay.
But two,
If you're gonna see it anyway with a warrant, baby, you might as well gonna let us see it.
I guess to embarrassing.
Okay. Well, I'm not here to judge you, okay? I'm here to just kind of understand. Okay, so do you want to give me the information or no?
Is it fine if no?
It's totally up to you.
Then no.
When asked for her user information, Marzan suddenly becomes hesitant. It is hard to imagine why, since she has already confessed to the murder and that she had planned it out all in advance.
Okay. And the dagger that's on the bed, it's the all black one, right? And then you said it's also on the desk. Okay.
Yeah.
And it came like in a
Sure,
2-pack?
like, why?
You purchased 2. Okay. What was the reasoning behind purchasing 2?
I just didn't feel comfortable using the used one.
You're already invested.
Okay.
You might as well just leave everything.
So you thought to...
Give up.
Okay. This whole time? Or the...
When I made my mind up about it.
Okay. But your sister, you said, was messaging you? Was she messaging you on, like, just regular text messages, or?
Yes.
Okay. And that's another reason. So I obviously have to see, like, that conversation and what all took place.
Like that she didn't know about it.
Right, yeah.
I didn't talk to anyone about it because I knew they would try to stop me. And I knew that, like, I knew her especially, that I felt really bad because she likes me the most out of the siblings and we hang out a lot. And, I just wanted to give her like a note, but and I told her to look at it later. But that's why I was gonna like put it somewhere where it's not like in front of everything, and then tell her to scroll up and look at it. But it, like I said, I accidentally sent it as a message, so it came up as a notification in like the beginning of it. Kind of gave it away what it was. But that plus the fact that she kind of just thought I was being different. She didn't say that. She just kind of assumed like that I was acting a little off. But then that last thing gave it away. But I didn't tell her directly. I just told her when she wanted to come in the room because I was thinking like, she's already here telling me she wants to come in already suspecting. Then if I turned her away now, she probably would have just felt like I was too late or something, and I would have felt worse than her just being in another room and looking at it later. But I wanted to at least tell her in some way, just time where she could
Hey, Brittany.
try to convince me otherwise.
But she was able to.
Girl, just tell it all. Get a lady accountant and everything.
So I just want to make sure I understand that correctly. So basically, you wanted to essentially give her like a goodbye letter, and you didn't mean to send it, but part of it got sent, and she kind of like picked up on what was happening. So then she was like persisting to get in and see you and talk to you, and okay.
Even though the didn't know so far.
But she didn't know like your plan or what you were gonna do prior. Okay. So that's why, like I need to see those messages. I need to confirm that. So that's just part of the investigation. So, okay. Do you know your, so I don't know Discord, but is it like there's a username? Is it?
Username, password.
Username, password, okay.
It's actually, my one also has a 2-factor authentication, and you need a separate app you have to log into, and then you put in a code. And it's complicated so that it can't get hacked.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Understandable. Do you know your sister's user or your sister's like name? Mm-hmm. What is it?
Mari with 2 question marks.
Mari, M-A-R-I?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then your username it's blonde something.
Yeah, blonde with the E at the end, and then P-I-R-E.
Will you give her all the information?
P-I-R-E. Okay. Okay.
If you want, you could ask her to show you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, if I can't figure it out. Okay. Do you have any pictures of Joseph on your phone? Like of him?
Not many, but yes.
Okay. I'm just curious as to what this person looks like.
Okay. He's half Asian, half white.
Okay.
Well, Japanese, to be specific, so Japanese and white. And he has...
Farmer will have to be questioned, although he had no idea Marzan would have done such a thing to her sister.
Black hair, pale skin. I think his hair is... He hasn't sent any pictures in the last, year. He was going to, but then every time, he's never been big on sending pictures. He just doesn't like the way he looks.
Okay.
And it's...
But you met him.
But I met him.
Okay.
And so, just long black hair usually.
It's long black hair?
Because he doesn't get a chance often to cut it since he's just, in his young moment.
Okay.
And he has to go to his aunt's house to get it cut.
Gotcha. Does Joseph have a job?
No, he was going to get one when he came here because it'd be simpler to, instead of getting one and then having to get a new job when you move.
Gotcha. Okay. Does Joseph's phone number, does it start, do you know the area code it starts with? The first couple numbers, or what do you have in labeled as in your phone?
Bubby.
Bubby.
B-B-Y.
B-U-B-B-Y?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is there a way to track the phone call? Is that way?
Yeah, I mean, I would look in your phone and see the last couple people you called, and so some I would think you would label him Babe or Joseph Farmer, and he's Bubby, so that would throw me for a loop. So that's why I asked what he's labeled as in your phone, because everyone has nicknames. So, it's just more of a curiosity. So I can go and see this phone call that you talked about.
Exactly.
That you placed. And then you also called your older sister, right? What is she labeled in your phone?
Brittany, she took her sister. She unalived her sister
What does
because
that
her
mean?
sister was messing with her boyfriend, and the sister wouldn't stop. So she ordered a knife from Amazon.
So Bobby and Apu will be in there. Yes. Okay. Just call anyone else?
See, she asking her stuff, so when she get a court order from the judge to seize that phone, she know what to look in. That's why she asked her what's the boyfriend name, what the sister account was, because she know the detective want to know what to go right to.
My name is Carlos. Obviously, I was following everything that you were saying. I was just kind of saying in the background, kind of getting a little more information, stuff like that. Okay. You mentioned a fiance. Were you guys engaged?
Yes.
Okay. Well, when is your engagement date?
19. Maybe 2018. July.
July, what date? What number?
Oh, she ordered two on? Oh, mommy, okay.
Hold on.
Miss that one. Hey.
It was actually.
Oh, she's sitting there laughing. What is wrong with this girl?
Listening to Marzan giggle and joke with the detectives, one would never know that she had just stabbed her sister to death hours before. She isn't troubled by the loss, and she may feel no remorse.
What number was it?
28.
Oh, the 28th, June 28th. Okay. And
2018, just summary.
Pretty sure that.
And so that will make you 4 years engaged.
I agree, Brittany, and I said that.
And obviously, like she told you, we're not here to judge or anything like that. We're here to understand what happened, okay? And obviously, you taking the time to explain it to us, it makes a lot more sense, okay? So that's why it was important. I noticed certain things that you said that I picked up on. You mentioned 4:30. You picked that time. Why 4:30? What does that mean?
The quietest time, because my family stays up late too.
Okay.
But that time was when everyone was asleep. But also, yeah, because they would wake up around 6 for prayer time. So I figured my intention was 4, but my brother was in my room on the computer for a bit, so I guess I did.
And did you decide, did you stay up late, or did you put an alarm? Like, how did you?
I just stayed up. I had woken up late the day already, so it was just, I would have stayed up.
You pretty much stayed up. Okay. And then you mentioned that you were planning to do it at 4. And you can mention that you had already made your mind. When exactly did you make your mind up? Like you said, I'm going to go through with this. When did you told yourself we're going to do this?
I kept, even when I was thinking that, it was like still, maybe I shouldn't, but when I thought that I was waiting.
So essentially from 2 weeks ago, you were kind of like trying to figure out like, okay, well, I'm definitely going to do this. I'm just trying to figure out how am I going to do this. Okay. I just want to make sure I understood. And then, are you a righty or are you a lefty?
Right.
You're a righty. Okay. And then, you mentioned that, obviously, she has maybe 3 or 4 injuries, on the heart. Can you just tell me, because obviously I just need to figure out, how those injuries are going to be showing, was the knife like this, was it like this?
Straight like this, but maybe some might be slightly, at an angle.
Okay.
Because she was.
Okay.
Maybe like this.
Okay. Like you were holding the knife like this. Okay. Yeah. I just want to make sure I got that right. And then.
No, with both hands actually.
Oh, both hands. Okay. And you didn't cut yourself or anything like that? Okay. Like the handle was long enough? Because you have small hands, so maybe just. Yeah. I just want to make sure.
It just gets enough too, and it has the hilt, the little ones at the side that helps.
Okay. I see. And then your Amazon account. You mentioned that you're the only one that uses it, right? Like nobody else has access to that or anything like that. And then it's just something that we need to ask. Obviously, you planned this on your own, like nobody helped you or anything like that. Your parents knowledge about this, or any other siblings or anything like that? And you mentioned that you didn't want to tell anybody because you knew they were going to talk you out of it, correct? I just want to make sure I got that right. And then, why Bubby? What does Bubby mean? What's the story behind that?
It started like, I would say, like, okay, buddy, but then one time I was like, hey, I know dyslexic wrote Bubby.
Oh.
But then, so then I would just use the word Bubby just because it sounded funny, but then he would call me that back. So then it was just him again. So it was like just Bubby.
Just pretty much Bubby. Okay. And then obviously, when you were in the bed, where did you keep the knife?
Before I did it, on the stand, like the bedside where the TV is, like on a desk.
Oh, like on the desk. Okay. And she didn't see it or anything like that?
Well, I put it there after she was asleep. It was just for convenience without being in the way for me to accidentally touch it or anything.
Oh, okay. Okay. Where did you keep it safe prior to that?
In my backpack.
In your backpack? Okay.
What's your backpack look like?
Pink. It's in the closet.
Does it have any words on it or anything?
It's just has a gold chain.
Okay.
It's the only thing backpack says.
Oh, okay.
That's your color.
It's under there's like a desk in there. It's at the bottom of the floor.
You mentioned that she woke up. Was it like at the very first stab that she woke up? Okay. So she wakes up, she's like, what the f-? And then you tell her to stop because she kept moving. And at that point, you went deep into it, I'm assuming. What happened as soon as you were done? What were you thinking?
That she probably woke the whole house up. But she didn't apparently.
Samuel woke during the attack, but did not have time to fight back. Marzan was sure to strike her heart, so the rest of her family wouldn't be woken by the noise.
I felt nauseous. Because part of me still didn't feel like it was right. But like I was like, okay. But also worried because I was going to do me next. And so I was just thinking like it was a little too much.
Obviously, it's one of those things. You were hurt, right? I mean, like I said, nobody's here to judge you or anything like that. It's one of those things that we do crazy things when we're in love, right? It's same with the same and stuff. Anything else?
I just wanted to know, you said that you had woken up late on, so your bedtimes are a lot later, so I'm curious, did you wake up yesterday, like afternoon, or?
It was about 5
p.m.? Okay, so you woke up, okay, hold on. The incident occurred about like almost 24 hours ago, so it's like almost 2:30 now. So on the 25th, on Sunday, you woke up at 5 p.m. and then you stayed up until after the incident occurred which would be the 26th, correct?
So it's like 11 hours later.
Right. Okay. I just want to make sure I got my dates right. So on 9/25, on Sunday, you woke up at 5 p.m. around, you said?
Today turned Tuesday.
It's now Tuesday.
And yesterday was Monday.
Right. But the incident occurred at 4:30 yesterday. So almost 24 hours ago. So you would have obviously been awake. So, or you hadn't gone to bed yet, from midnight to 4:30. So you woke up on Sunday around 5 p.m. and then you didn't go to bed until after the incident. Okay. And you said you're normally right-handed, but you use both of your hands?
The main one on there, but the left one on top for support.
Okay, so your right hand on and then the left on top of that for support.
Kind of next to it, I guess. Like this.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Just one quick. I know you said the incident happened 4:30 in the morning. And my understanding is that your whole family was in the house, right? You're sleeping. Did anybody went to knock on your door, to see?
I expected a knock, but there was no knock.
Okay, you expected at some point somebody was going to knock. Okay. Is it normal for them to knock on your guys' door, check on it and stuff like that?
If they hear something.
But if not, there's no. Is that I'm sorry. Obviously, there's different backgrounds and stuff like that. Is that a religious thing? They just don't barge into your bedroom, or can you tell me a little more about that?
That's the only thing.
It's usually what?
Locked.
It's usually locked. Okay. So that's why they just don't go in.
If it's open, they don't knock. They just kind of open it.
Oh, okay. So you usually barge in. Okay, but mom and dad didn't bother to go and open or try or anything.
Marzan and her sister were over the age of 20, so it is unlikely that their parents would have checked on them during the night.
Like that. It just so happens today they didn't bother to do that. And the only reason why you eventually did it was because you said your little sister was wanting to go inside.
Yeah, and I have a weak spot for her.
And you have a weak spot, right? Because you knew it was her. But did
Mommy, in the daytime, Mommy did come multiple times. She wanted me to eat, and she wanted me to open my window because it was really hot in the house. So she came to check up on me.
What do you remember? What time was that?
Noon, and then at 2.
Okay. So
every couple hours.
So she can check what happened. The door was locked. What would you say?
I just said
You say what? I'm sorry.
later.
Later.
If she asks a question, hey, can you open up? Just go no.
Did she ask for your sister at any point? That was just checking on the girls.
It was just kind of both, but more. She knew I was awake, so she asked me.
Oh, okay.
Probably just expensive.
And is your schedule like that because of your work? You work overnight? Oh, okay.
I also just hate waking up in the morning.
Oh, we got that in common.
I can go to sleep early and I'll still wake up red eyes if I wake up in the morning.
Oh, okay. I see. It's rough waking up early. I'm struggling right now. I used to be in a position where I used to work overnights. It was beautiful, but waking up early is a little rough.
I like being at least past 2 p.m.
Oh, yeah. I'll go to bed at 4 in the morning. Yeah,
So it's basically not abnormal for you to be left alone in your room or to be in your room. No one's gonna make sure they see you, physically see you or your sister.
It's normal that if it's locked and you just tell them to go away,
they go away. Okay. And were you able to because I spoke with your dad a little bit and you guys pray often. Are you allowed to pray in your room and that's okay? Or
and you know
they don't make you pray in a certain area.
I got another thing planned. I'm trying to get it off, but I want to know.
It's not required or anything.
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
Okay. So your sisters only came towards the end, when shortly before you called 911, they came into the room. Okay.
My older sister wanted to see her, so after I told her, so then so I let her in too.
Okay, I think it's
okay. And where did they did they stand? Did they sit?
They stood. This is a small room that takes up most of it, and then it was just standing.
They were just standing. Okay. Okay.
I'm so questioned about the Snapchat thingy.
I'm listen to her now, because she sounds like she ain't got no remorse at all, like whatsoever.
Okay. Yeah. I appreciate it.
They should be tired of her too, for real.
Okay. I don't think I have anything else. Do you think you're good? Okay. Can you just raise your right hand for me? Do you promise and swear everything we've talked about has been true and accurate to the best of your knowledge? Okay. All right. Can I get you any more water? Yeah. Okay.
Are you okay with snacks? There's not like food here per se, but I can probably get you a snack.
A vending machine snack
Like
or
a vending
something?
machine,
Is
would
that
that be good?
Is there a preference, like, or are you allergic to anything?
Yeah.
No.
I kind of want something
Savory? What does that mean? Is that like chocolate?
like salty.
Salty. Okay. Okay. Not sweet. Okay. We can see if there's something available.
Yeah, the vending machine. Yeah, I could check for you. I know they have a lot of candy, but I doubt you want candy. But
Chips, I think are fine.
Chips. Okay.
I like most chips.
Okay. Also, another thing that I forgot to ask before. So just a part of any investigation, there's obviously evidence that's going to be collected, right? And so what we have to do, not us, but it gets sent off to a lab, and the lab says, yes, this person's DNA is on it, and this person's DNA is on it. So that's obviously going to happen in this case, but in order for that to happen, they request a sample of your DNA, which means like a cotton swab in your mouth, just to say like that the DNA that's on this is your DNA, and that her DNA is her DNA. Does that make sense? Are you okay with us collecting your DNA with a cotton swab? That's okay? Okay.
It doesn't hurt anything like that.
Like my fingerprints or something?
We don't have, so DNA, there is DNA, like technically, and the fingerprints, like if I were to touch you, my DNA would be on you, but as far as being able to definitively say, it has to be like through like your saliva. So that's why we put a cotton swab in your mouth. That's why I was asking like if you needed more water or whatever, but yeah, so we don't draw blood or anything, but that's, to get someone's DNA, it's normally through blood or saliva.
Now that the interview is wrapped up, Marzan's DNA will be taken, even though it is mostly a formality at this point.
Match the DNA.
She's too calm for me.
Yeah, definitively saying like instead of, because obviously your DNA is not in any system. You've never been in trouble before or anything like that. So your DNA is not in any system. So I would have to get
she knew what she was doing.
A judge to say, hey, I need your DNA, or you can consent and give us your DNA now. It's totally up to you. But yeah, like that's the only way that we do it is by like your saliva, because we are not doctors and we cannot draw people's bloods. So yeah, it's up to you, but it's just a step that we have to do.
Yeah, she was. She was very awesome
in the investigation.
Definitely was.
Is that okay? Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll get you more water, and then we'll work on getting you some chips, and then I'll come back with that stuff to do the cotton swab for your mouth. Okay.
Okay. So will you try reaching out to him?
I will actually, yeah, but not tonight. But I will have to talk to him at some point.
Is there, since we're basically going to talk, is there anything you want me to tell him? Or do you want to like?
Do you want to write him a
letter or something? Or like whatever makes you feel more comfortable. I feel like letters are like a little more personal, but.
I think that's just wondering because.
Exactly, Brittany.
I'm calling or something.
I agree.
Yeah. But I mean, we need to make contact with him. And like I said, if there's anything you want me to relay to him, I'll be more than happy to do that for you. There's nothing you want to tell him?
Marzan does not want to relay a message to Farmer, who has already made it clear that he does not want to be in contact with her after what she has done.
Yeah, whatever this is going on.
We're going to get that stuff for you. Get you some more water.
Also, when will I get to use my phone again?
I have to take your phone. As part of the investigation, I have to take your phone. I'll be writing a search warrant for the judge. So the judge will tell me, like, hey, yes, you have probable cause to go into her phone, and then we're going to go into it and download it and go from there. But if you need, like, numbers or something from it, I can get you those numbers.
Okay. But will I get it back?
Maybe one day.
No, you're not getting it back. You're going to
Well, I
jail.
don't know. It just kind of depends on where the investigation goes and kind of what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you might.
So you're gonna look through which things?
Probably everything. To be honest, every form of
Yes, all these
communication, just to
questions. Girl, you should
see
have asked them for the date
who you may have talked to. I mean, you've been pretty open with us, but so this is kind of how this works. So someone will tell you a story. They'll tell you, their side of the story, and then there's another side of the story, and then somewhere in the middle, we normally find what we call, the truth. So I'm not saying that you lied, but I can't take your word for it. I have to back it up with evidence. I have to corroborate it, which means that I have to prove that what you're telling me, what you sat here and told me, is true and accurate. And the way I do that is I go through people's phones. And I prove, like, yes, she made this phone call. She called Bubby at this time. She called Abu at this time. She called 911 next, and just kind of go through what you said. And then, there's always people, even though you told me everything, essentially, people will talk about it and they'll communicate. And the communication that you have with your sister, like, I need to read about that. I need to see it. Because I can take your word for it all day long, and I'm not saying you're a liar, but I just have to corroborate it. I can't take your word for it, even though I want to, and I believe you, and I don't feel like you lied to me, but I can't just take people's word for it in this line of work. I have to corroborate everything that is told to me, if I can. So if I can corroborate it, I will. If I can't, then it's just kind of your word.
I just feel like most of the information isn't on the text, it's on the calls, like, clearly the important stuff is called about, even between them two.
Sure. Yeah, no, it's just part of the investigation. I honestly take everyone's phone. And then, when it can be released, it's released. But I just don't have the answer. Because, I'm the lead investigator. I'm not the state attorney or anything like that. So at the end of the day, the state attorney has the final say on what happens. Okay? But I can get you numbers if you need anything from it. You can't have it right now. Okay? Any other questions before I get you some water and hopefully find you some chips?
Exactly, Brittany. Nobody went into this situation. She lost her sister, and
So
she's
you
going to
just
jail.
asked him, like, his side of it.
Joseph?
So the family grieving twice over the loss of the sister and then her.
Because I know he doesn't
So nobody
understand
went.
it the same way I did. From the last call, he wasn't agreeing that, like, he thinks I forgot some of the important calls when we talked about stuff, but to me it's obvious that he forgets important talks. He has a bad memory. So the things that I see as reoccurring to him, it might seem like not there, or like once. We just didn't quite see the level the last call.
Yeah, you didn't see eye to eye. I understand, and I mean, to be honest, like, a male's perspective on something versus a female is probably never going to be the same. That's just life.
Especially when it feels like I can see the influence on him. He can't see it because he's not being influenced.
Sure.
So things like that.
Yeah. Okay. All right, we'll be right back, okay?
Marzan is still upset that the detective will be going through her phone. and doesn't seem to realize that she is unlikely to ever have access to it again. Patia Marzan was charged with the murder of her sister and is currently awaiting trial. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like the video. And if you want to support the channel even more, there's a Patreon link in the description below.
Okay, hold on, y'all. I don't know why is this. Hold on, y'all. I gotta get this off. I have to get this off of my screen, y'all. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to get this. What the hell is going on here? Okay, y'all. Let me get up off here. Because I don't know. So, y'all, I hope y'all enjoyed. I will see you guys tomorrow. Everybody have a good afternoon. Thank y'all for chiming in. I appreciate y'all so much. I will see y'all tomorrow, same time, same place. Y'all have a good day. And thank you, Miss Hill, for the coffee. I appreciate you so much. Everyone have a good day.